Happy Monday. New week, new craziness going on, new distractions, new anything but look at the American economy, new anything but look at what the average American is dealing with. Interesting times for sure. Okay, so we got a great talk this morning. So I've again woke up a little bit late. And as much time as I like to prepare, but that's okay. We're going to talk about some interesting things. We'll go through headlines and we'll talk about again. Trump's kind of in mad king mode, and again, everyone says he's not everyone. A lot of people are saying he's kind of batshit crazy, and there's probably an element of truth to that. But at the same time, you gotta hope that the guy has a plan, right? And I think that the guy probably does have some kind of a plan. So I want to make sure that we bear that kind of stuff in mind as we're talking today. Again, I'm not one of these guys that thinks that Trump's just Looney Tunes and has to go. And again, I voted for Trump 3 times, so I kind of had a lot of high hopes for the guys. But what we'll talk about today is we'll talk about like where is this conflict going, right? Why is Trump doing this? What's it going to mean for the average American, right? As a small business owner here in St. Louis, Missouri, I got 9 guys that rely on me to be able to make enough furniture for them, to make enough sales for them. So they have furniture to build, they have furniture to paint, they have furniture to assemble, they have furniture to transport, right? They rely on me to be able to do my job so that they have jobs. And again, as a business owner, I got to kind of know like where things are going, what's coming down the horizon. I got to be looking to see where things are going so that I can kind of make the best decisions for my guys. Because at the end of the day, my job is to make sure that they got jobs. So anyway, that's where we come from. I think that's why people like this stream. We get a lot of people in here talking back and forth about kind of what's going on here. So again, if you like this kind of content, if you get tired of listening to the talking heads, just read the news to you and tell you kind of their opinion as commentators, or maybe you like the opinion of someone who actually owns a small business, actually has to make things happen and actually has to deal with tax policy and actually has to live in this world as a real kind of average American. I think that's why people like this content, So that's who I am. That's what I do. And I appreciate everybody being here this morning. So let's dig into our headlines real quick. And I want to start off with channel stats. I always use channel stats right away. And the way you guys kind of know where the channel's at. And because, again, the channel is what it is because of you guys. You guys are the reason that we get such great growth. We get good numbers on this channel. And I really do appreciate it. So here we go. So starting off, the channel is we're at 352% growth month over month, which is good. So we're growing really fast. We're doing about 175,000 views a month. We're doing about 3,000 hours in watch time. We're doing about 300 subscribers a month, and the channel's making it $141 a month right now, which is fantastic. So anyway, I really appreciate guys that you're able to do it for me. So here we go. Headlines. All right. Trump posts picture of himself as Jesus. I thought this was kind of interesting. Trump is kind of a crazy dude, and of course, we all know that Trump loves himself. Maybe more than he loves anybody else. But Trump is he's never shy about talking about how wonderful he is. And again, this wasn't somebody else making this picture of Trump as Jesus or or a mythical figure, whatever you want to say. He did it, which is I think that might be a first. Have we ever had a president? We ever had the president depict himself as Jesus? This seems kind of like an odd thing. I personally, as an American, I don't like that. We got a lot of problems to deal with in this country, and it seems like Trump campaigned on doing one thing, and now he's pretending he's George Bush and 9/11's happened, and now he has to go work on this other thing. And so, yeah, so I don't think that this is a good sign for us as Americans. And I want to let you guys know, right? I'm calling it right now. Here we go, Eric. Whatever, Nostra Eric, whatever you want to call it. Here's what happens next, right? Trump is going to get such pushback on this war thing, and people are going to start to get so pissed at the cost of gasoline, the cost of everything. You guys have already seen inflation starting to go up, right? So if this goes on for another 30 days, I will get another inflation report. That inflation number is going to have a 4 on it, right? And after that, it's going to have a 5 on it, right? Here's what's coming. Trump is going to offer you guys, he's going to tell you guys that you're going to get a dividend check, right? You're going to get an oil dividend, right? This is coming. He's going to be like, you wait, today he's going to be like, oh, the tankers are here in the Gulf of America. They all want our oil. Our oil's the best oil, high quality, amazing oil. Americans are going to get peace because we're going to be passing out checks like fucking Skittles. This is what's coming. Trump is so good at being a salesman. This is what's getting ready to happen, guys. I promise you, okay? Again, we had the Doge checks, and then I think we had the tariff checks, and then we had he was going to cancel income taxes for people. And again, he's always telling you guys what's going to happen. And here's the thing, guys. None of it's going to happen. So look for that. Okay. So anyway, so Trump posts himself as Jesus. Amazing. And again, of course, he's always got the military in there because again, Trump wants to be a military guy. So next story is Trump blockades the Strait, right? Trump blockades Iran, in a move that was not unpredictable. Quite a few people have talked about this potentially happening. So again, what's this do? What does this mean? Where does this go? Where's the end game here? And the truth is, guys, is that it just means the cost of everything goes up, And again, even when all of these tankers are flocking, which is again, this is going to be the story, right? Wait, you got all week, you're going to be hearing Trump talk about, oh my God, America's the new gas station of the world. Everyone's going to be getting rich. It's going to be great. The truth is, guys, is that nothing has changed in the Middle East, which is fine. That's fine. We could just leave, right, and let Iran and the Middle East deal with their problems and let Europe deal with its problems, right? Trump's already talking about getting out of NATO, but at the end of the day, guys, gas is still going to go up. Diesel, and again, I ship furniture all over America. Diesel's through the roof. Okay, diesel's very expensive. Your average cost for food is going to go up because gas is in everything, right? Diesel is in everything, I should say. So again, everything's going to continue to get more expensive, and that's all that's really going to happen, no matter what Trump does in the Middle East, right? Short of getting the Strait open, and say he even gets the Strait open, right? It's going to take a month to get those tankers running back through there. Again, a tanker doesn't move like a boat; you just hit the throttle and it goes. Again, you got something like 500 or 600 of these tankers just literally backed up. They're all clogged up. I didn't even know we had so many tankers, if I'm being completely honest. But it's going to take a little while for these things to get moving back through there again. So, I mean, we're a month out from anything happening at all. So we got another inflation report coming in, guys. And I'm here to tell you that things are going to continue to get more expensive, right? So at the end of the day, that's what's going to happen. And again, you're going to see all the rhetoric about the tankers and all this oil coming into, or all these people coming in and purchasing American oil, and how it's going to be so great for America. We're going to make so much money. Everyone's going to be making oil, right? We're all going to be growing the oil and gas industry. America's going to become the energy dominant superpower of the world. Okay, here's the thing, guys. We're already that. We produce more oil than anybody. We produce more gasoline than anybody. We're king daddy, And again, let's say that industry doubles. Okay, what does that mean for the average American? Okay, it doesn't mean anything, guys. You cannot bring the cost of energy down when the Strait of Hormuz is closed. You just can't. Again, fantastic for us. Well, there'll be more oil jobs, right? There'll be more oil rigs. There'll be more exploration. There will be more jobs. This industry will grow, which is a good thing. But at the end of the day, houses are still too expensive. Energy is still too expensive. College is too expensive. Healthcare is too expensive. All the immigrants are still here, right? The tariffs are still dog shit. Trump still is not doing the things that he ran on. He's completely shifted into this wartime economy and this wartime president, which he ultimately wants to be because he thinks it's going to get him on Mount Rushmore. And the truth is that nothing's going to change, guys. It's too bad. And maybe in the long term, some of the geopolitical strategy will change and will favor America, right? So you could say, well, maybe energy prices are going to be stable. I hear this all the time. It's going to be Iran's not going to have nukes, and American energy is going to be more stable. Okay, here's the thing about gas, guys. Gas never trickles down to you guys. It just doesn't. Very rarely. The only thing that our president can really do to get the cost of energy down is to lower regulations here in America. Because at the end of the day, guys, it's all traded on a global market. Now, if the American government decided, hey, you know what? We're the largest producer of oil in the world. We're producing 3 times, 4 times, 5 times as much energy as we were producing prior to this. We could subsidize it, right? Like Riyadh. If you go over to Saudi Arabia, guys, gas is 58 cents a gallon over there because they just subsidize because they got so much of it and they can pay for it. It's not a problem. We could do that here, but that will never happen. You guys will never see a tangible benefit from this government. You guys will never see a tangible benefit from the government. Because the point of all your guys' taxes, the point of all your guys' efforts that you do when you pay your state, your county, your local, your property taxes, your vehicle taxes, all the freaking taxes you guys pay, they're never going to cut those because you're just supposed to pay taxes, guys. That's all you're supposed to do. There's no tangible benefits for you, right? So anyway, that's one of the headlines. I don't want to talk about too much because, again, we're going to talk about that in the rest of our discussion. But yeah, so anyway, all the tankers coming over. You guys mark my words. Trump's going to be telling you guys you're going to get an oil dividend. It's going to happen. It's going to be like Alaska. You guys are basically just going to be paid because we get so much oil from the rest of the world buying our shit. It'll never happen. Okay. Last quick headline we'll talk to you guys about. And then we'll say hi to everyone. I'll get in there. I'll interact with you guys. Then we can jump into the bulk of our discussion about Trump essentially being a mad king at this point. Completely forsaken what he ran on, and we'll go on that. He's got a lot of people distracted, which good for him. He's the king of distraction, right? He's the king of media. He's a great salesman. I mean, give the guy credit, man. Okay, one of the things I want to talk about real quick is again, because I'm in the furniture industry, I like to talk to you guys about an article pertaining to the furniture industry because it's kind of my thing, So the article is in furnituretoday.com, and it says CEOs watching for first factors to indicate recovery. right? So what they're doing at this point is they're like, the housing market's toast. Like there's just nothing we can do about it right now. So they're looking for other key indicators, that will give them an idea of when the housing market might get back on track. Basically, the article states that the housing market has been in decline for 6 years at this point, which is a long time. Again, as a furniture owner, like I feel it, like I get it, man. Like business has not been great. Like it's good enough. Like we're doing just fine. We're paying our guys, and we're still moving furniture, and the factory is still there, and we just bought a CNC router, so we're doing fine. But the industry has been in decline for a long time. And again, we have High Point going on right now, which is the largest furniture trade show of the year. Right, it's done in High Point, North Carolina. We like to go. We were supposed to go this year, but we didn't end up going. And the truth is that the factors that these guys are looking for just aren't there. They're looking at things like global instability. Like they're not even looking at key factors here at home. They're looking at things like the high cost of homes. Like no matter what happens, guys, in housing, right? Again, if until the government or the states and the federal government team up together and they realize that supply and demand, is a thing. Until they realize that, the housing market's in a lot of trouble. And basically, what has to happen is everyone's talking about rates, right? You guys are going to see Donald Trump. You're going to see, governors. In my case, JB Pritzker. These guys are going to say, "Oh, we need the Feds to lower rates, lower rates, lower rates, lower rates." Okay, here's the thing, guys. When you look at the rates, if they're whatever 6.5% today, right? Let's say they go down to 5.5%, right? They go down a full 1%, which is probably not going to happen anytime soon, especially when inflation is going to have a 4 in front of it. What's going to happen, guys, is the cost of housing has to go down. Like, doesn't matter what happens with rates. Rates are not even the issue anymore, and nobody wants to talk about that. Housing's too expensive, right? So the only way to get the cost of housing to come down is to either increase supply or reduce demand, right? You can kick out all the illegals. You can kick 30 million people out, and you can watch supply of homes go down, or you can watch the demand go down, right? Or you can build a shit ton of houses, right? And again, no one's talking about any one of these things. Donald Trump actually ran on both of these things, and again, now he's focused on Iran. He's not doing any of it. So the people that are the head guys in my industry, which is the furniture industry, are really freaking out about the lack of effort to bring down the price of housing. So this guy's what he's talking about in this article, and again, it's on furnituretoday.com. It's just it's really frustrating what this guy's saying, because he's not sure where to even look. He's not even sure, what kind of metrics to look at, because again, the government, both state and federal, are not doing anything to help this particular sector, right? And it's very frustrating. You're going to hear Trump talking about, we need to lower rates. We need to help homeowners. You're going to hear people say, "Oh my God, we need to lower these rates. It's going to help people buy homes." And oh, wait till we lower the rates. As soon as we lower the rates, everyone's going to come into the housing market. You're going to hear this ad infinitum for basically the next 3 months, because you got the new guy coming into the Fed. I forget his name off the top of my head, but this guy's going to be coming in, and again, Trump's going to talk about lowering rates. Guys, lower rates has nothing to do with it. At this point, it's ineffective. It's what you call a credible threat, right? The reason they want rates to be lower, guys, has nothing to do with housing. The federal government needs the Fed to lower interest rates because the government has to basically re-up its debt, right? And so if it has to re-up its debt in a high inflationary environment, what's going to happen is that the amount of interest that we pay on that debt is going to balloon exponentially. And this is what the government is terrified of. So it's beating the Fed over the head. Lower rates, lower rates. You need to help America, help America, help the average American. America needs lower rates, lower rates. It's going to help our credit cards. Help, give us help. It's all a ruse just to get the federal government to be able to re-up its debt. Anyway, it's an interesting article, and I thought it was very informative and didn't make me feel really good about my industry, which is too bad, because again, I got 9 guys that got to be able to pay. I need demand in the housing market in order to sell houses, unfortunately, or in order to sell furniture. Fortunately, I sell furniture to very wealthy people who are always moving and who are always buying homes and redecorating. And the trend is moving from buying homes and redoing homes to renovating homes, because again, a lot of people aren't purchasing because you can't get out of a 3% interest rate. Right? When you bought a home that was maybe moderately overpriced at 3%, to where you're now buying homes that are overpriced and interest rates are high. So yeah, the further you move up the income stream, the less of a problem this is. But if you're talking like $500 to $1 million, these people aren't moving. They're just going to renovate. So my industry is changing a lot. It's not in great shape. It's been in decline for almost 6 years at this point. And again, the industry is doing okay. I'm gonna sell a $15,000 China cabinet today. I got a $75,000 table that I'm gonna sell. So we're still selling big ticket items, but from a production standpoint, like from a factory type standpoint, I need to be selling $6,000 to $8,000 credenzas because we just whip those things out, right? I can build 5 of those a week. I need to be selling tons of those. And the truth is, most people that were buying my furniture, 1, 2, 3, 4 years ago, were buying tons of those things, right? And that has slowed down. So anyway, I thought it was kind of interesting. Again, just a little bit back in on the furniture side of things, how my business runs, where I make my money, these kind of things. I've talked about this many times. So anyway, let's say hi to everyone, and then we're going to dig into the bulk of our discussion, which is Trump's a mad king. Where's Congress, right? What are they doing? Like, where's Trump going with this whole Iran? Why is Trump putting all of his chips on this Iran thing? And again, the guy ran on, stabilizing the Middle East, ending foreign conflicts, tariffs, mass deportations, lowering energy prices, lowering housing prices. Like, he ran on all this stuff. The overwhelming majority of America elected this guy. He won the swing states. Like, people that were independents came over and voted for this guy. And again, he had the ticket to ride, and he's fucked it all up. At least that's how I see it. So you guys let me what you know in the comments, and let's get after you guys. We got our moderators in here for you guys that don't know that are new. We have moderators in here that kick out all the BS comments. So if you guys want to interact, you want me to go back and forth with you, you got to put something in there. Hey, Eric, I like this. Here's why. Eric, I don't like this. Here's why. Right? If you're going to interact with someone in the comments, again, let people know why. I'm the host. You guys are the co-host. This live streams only work if you and I go back and forth. I'm not just a talking head. I don't just parrot the news. I don't just give you my opinion. We have to have a back and forth, right? So if you guys are in the stream, you like this kind of content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get going. So first thing, we got Jess of the Howl 20. Good morning. Good to see you, dude. Roger Thacker 7515. Love President Trump. Fantastic, Roger Trump. Let me know what you like. Let's see, J May 123. Do you really think the midterms will change any of this? Well, so the thing about the midterms is, right now, if you want to get really honest about it, I think everything changes during the midterms, right? And here's why. What's going on right now is, if you guys look at the votes in Congress, Congress is not trying to constrain President Trump very much. They're being very quiet, right? Because essentially they're all being paid by the Israeli lobby, which is fine. That'll all change come November. They don't have a lot of power, so they've taken 4 votes, right? They've taken 4 votes right now to try and constrain President Trump's ability to inflict war, right? To campaign for war, right? They've tried to constrain him through requiring a declaration of Congress. They tried to constrain him through the power of the purse. They tried some of things, but the Republicans, have the House, right? So there's only so much they can do. And again, the Republican Party is essentially cucking to Donald Trump, which is really weird. You'd think that Congress would want to have some power. You think that they would want a declaration of war when the president is literally asking for $200 billion for this campaign and is asking for a $1.5 trillion budget for the Department of Defense, who hasn't passed an audit in 8 years. You would think that they would have some questions, but they don't. Okay, they're just going along with it, which is fine. Come November, that all changes, right? The projections, the polls, all these kind of things are showing that Trump is going to lose the House at minimum, right? And odds are he'll lose the Senate, right? And so what happens there is that Trump can absolutely continue his campaign in the Middle East. He can continue to drive traffic to the Gulf of America to take all of our oil, to buy all of our oil, whatever Trump wants to say. But at the end of the day, the Democrat Party is going to be a check on Donald Trump. I hope, right? And anything's possible, but odds are they're going to be a check on him, and they're going to start the impeachment process. They will, if they can't get Donald Trump impeached, they're just going to bring all of his cabinet up there. They're going to charge them all with war crimes, right? They're going to be looking at things like the International Criminal Court, right, that have been wanting to go after Benjamin Netanyahu, that are probably going to want to go after Donald Trump. You're going to get a lot more attention on these other bodies that Trump is basically told to fuck off, right? These guys are going to have a lot more ability to have influence on America. And I think the Democrat Party is going to bring all that stuff to light. And Trump's essentially, his ass is going to grow roots, sitting in front of Congress, being deposed, ask questions. Hegseth being deposed, asking questions. Why did you fire those 12 generals? Who are the generals that you're getting information from? Why was Benjamin Netanyahu in the Situation Room with you? Why was Mossad in the Situation Room? How did you conduct this war, right? What were you thinking, right? These questions are going to be never ending. And it's going to be a lot of theater, if I'm being completely honest, but it will be a check on Donald Trump's power, right? And then Trump's going to come in and he's going to say, well, you know what? I was going to kick out the the illegals, but now the Democrats are just asking me questions, and I was gonna increase the tariffs, but the Democrats are fine. It's gonna be everybody else's fucking problem. And again, Trump had free reign to go hard. He had all the votes. He had all the funding. Like a lot of times, there's funding problems because Congress won't give you the money to do the things you want. He had it all, every bit of it. And for some reason, he decided to conduct this campaign or use up all this political capital in the Middle East. I don't understand why. It doesn't make any sense. Most Americans could give a shit about this. Most Americans just want to make money. Again, they want housing prices to come down. They want to see energy prices come down. They want cars to be affordable again. They want healthcare to be affordable again. All these problems are stacking up, and Trump is waiting for Congress to check him so he can blame them. So anyway, we'll see what happens, man. But I think Trump's in deep shit. And again, if I'm being completely honest, I think Trump knew that he wasn't going to be able to help Israel do the Greater Israel Project. Again, I kind of lose people when I say this, but I'm kind of a little bit of a conspiracy guy in this way. I think that Donald Trump is beholden to the state of Israel just because of where his donations come from, his allegiances, his family. Like they got a lot of Jewish connection there, a lot of Israeli connection there. And again, we won't talk about much. It might be bullshit. Okay, so you start your home garden soon, cutting back on food costs. This is just of the WW L20 120 something like that. Yeah, maybe, man. Yeah, it might be what we got to do. I don't know. All right, if not, find your farmers market. Yeah, we got If you guys, we got a farmers market here in Alton, Illinois, which is really cool. Every Saturday, they got whatever, like 50 to 75 local farmers. These are people that they're gonna have beef, they're gonna have bacon, they're gonna have vegetables, they're gonna make all kinds of cool stuff. They're gonna have seed oils. They're gonna have just like a myriad of products. And again, it is more expensive. I'm not gonna lie, but you're buying from your local community, which is nice. And so again, we try and go down there as often as we can. So, all right, Matthew Schaefer, 9427. Talk is cheap, gas not so much. Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah, and at the end of the day, guys, like it comes down to the economy. Stupid, right? James Carville, the guy nailed it. So yeah, if Trump can't put Americans first, like he's done. His legacy is going to be ruined. He's going to forever go down as the Epstein president, the Epstein administration, because he's never going to get that albatross out from around his neck. Because he has yet to focus on America. And what you guys will notice with politicians, and again, take this to the bank, guys. What these guys always inevitably do is they always say, "Oh, I didn't have enough time. Oh, next election." Like, "Oh no, just let's do this thing and then we'll get." It's always the next thing that they're going to get to, right? And to Trump's credit, he tried to jump on the things that were important right away. But the minute he got pushback, he didn't push back against the people that were pushing against him. He just went on to the next thing. Like he's trying to speed run all of this stuff. And the truth is that he failed on tariffs. He failed on mass deportations, and he's just moving along. And again, when it came to tax cuts, again, he's always talking about tax on tips, tax overtime. Yeah, those things are great. Don't get me wrong. But again, Americans are still getting fucked in the ass on taxes, right? Whether it's federal, state, local, county, property, whatever you want, income, you're just constantly beat over the head on taxes. He didn't really help you guys on taxes that much. And again, he'll claim victory. He was supposed to, do the Doge dividends, the cutting income taxes for people making less than, I don't know, it started out at 75,000, then it was like 150,000. We had the tariff checks, and the only one's getting paid through tariffs is me, right? I got to raise my prices, and I'm going to get a check back from the CPB, right, for all the tariffs that I paid in for the last year, which is again, you guys are getting fucked again. So yeah, really frustrating what this guy's doing. All right, see, JJ Love 777 BRI. You must be talking about Canada. Okay, not sure what you're saying there, dude. We talk to people from Canada all the time. Okay, if we stopped our oil industry from exporting oil, we'd have lower oil prices. The problem, our oil industry is increasing exports while the Strait of Hormuz is closed. Yeah, well, again, Titan, that's a great comment. Here's the thing, guys. The more oil that we export, right, the more demand for oil that there is from America, guess what? Our prices are going to continue to go up. And again, Titan, I think you're kind of right there. I think I understand what you're saying. I looked into this particular thing this morning. I literally asked Grok. I said, Grok, how is all of the tankers coming into America, right, buying oil and crude from Americans, right? How is this going to help the average American? And the truth is, guys, it's not. It just isn't, because it's all traded on the world market. And again, the only way that it helps us is that maybe the oil companies will hire more people, right? Maybe we'll open up some more refineries. Maybe we'll get some more oil rigs out in the Gulf. Maybe we'll create some more pipelines. Maybe we'll create some more long-term relationships with the rest of the world, right, to purchase our oil. Those are all good things. But at the end of the day, the price for a barrel of oil isn't coming down, right? The price at you guys pay at the pump isn't coming down, right? And again, so no matter what the rhetoric is, guys, the price that we pay here is never going to come down, right? It may come down a little bit, but the truth is that you guys saw it when the war started. Gas went up almost $1 within what, like a month, right? It's going to take 6 months for that price to come back down because again, the price always goes up quickly because it's done on speculation, and it comes down incredibly slow because again, it's done on speculation. So it's a little bit of a tricky conversation, but at the end of the day, the point is that you guys aren't being helped. And all the people will tell you, oh, well, it was worth it to go over there because Iran was going to get a nuke. It's like, yeah, okay, I wasn't too worried about Iran. Okay. They'll say Donald Trump was been talking about going to Iran since the 80s. Okay, great. He didn't campaign on that, right? No one elected Donald Trump on his opinion for the last 40 years. Okay. No one elected him on any of that shit. We elected him. And again, America elected this guy on what he ran on during his campaign. So again, you'll hear the talking heads. You'll hear all these people on X talk about, oh, it was amazing 5D chest. All these people coming into America to buy our oil. America's just going to be crushing it. It's going to be the golden age. Okay. It's not happening, guys, because again, the things that need to get fixed require a lot of resources and require a lot of government spending. And the only appetite for spending that Donald Trump has is for the military. That's it. There's no money coming your guys' way. There's no government program to help you guys get the things that you want. Right now, if you're dirt poor, we got money for that, right? If you need tax cuts, we got money for that. You're in the military, we got money for that. That's it, guys. I'm sorry. It's just how it's going to be. So, all right, a few more comments, guys, and we'll dig into the bulk of our discussion. Sim Racing Central 529, great name, dude. Let's see. We have to export the crude. We have our refineries aren't set up to refine the crude. Yes, and again, you're 100% right. So a lot of people don't understand that there's a lot of different kinds of oil. There's a lot of different kinds of crude. The kind of crude we get from Canada is not necessarily the same crude that we get out of the Gulf, and the stuff that comes over from the Middle East is different. The stuff that Russia pumps, it's all a little bit different. What we pump here is called heavy crude, right? So this is going to be much more thicker, viscous material, right? So we don't actually have a ton of refineries to refine the sweet stuff that you get from the Middle East, right? So what we're doing is we're actually building more refineries. Go Google building oil refineries. So Donald Trump, to his credit, has reduced the red tape, and I forget what company it was. It was a Valero, maybe, was starting to build another refinery for the first time in like 30 years. So good on him. And this is what needs to happen, guys. Trump needs to do this with everything that is expensive in America, right? And like I said, with houses, right? Donald Trump can't convince people to build homes, right? He can't say, go build houses, right? But what he can do is, in conjunction with Congress, is Donald Trump can allocate $500 billion every year for the next 5 years to incentivize the production of homes. And guess what? You would see the industry boom, right? And people say, oh my God, that's not going to bring the cost of houses down. Bullshit. It absolutely will, right? In the initial run, housing would not get much cheaper, but you start stacking year after year after year after year of building 3.5 million homes, guys. You watch the cost of homes crater. It will tank, but it requires investment, and nobody wants to do it, So, all right, here we go. Let's see, Cole. Who's this? Oh, sorry, guys, my feed jumped. Cole blessed 5094. Coal equals cheap energy. Yes, and for you guys who don't know, I live on the Mississippi River. I watch the barges go up and down all day. And you know what those barges are carrying? Carrying coal, right? Coal is cheap, abundant. We have just shit tons of it. Oh my God, but it's dirty. It's like, okay, all right, tree huggers and hippies and you educated fucks, like no one gives a shit about dirty energy at this point, right? We just need cheaper energy, So again, we did your guys's, save the planet for the last 25 years. Okay, now it's time to all hands on deck, every fucking form of energy we can build. I don't care if it's dirty, if it's clean, whatever it is. If I could get energy from full frontal nudity, like that's what we would get it from. But we need energy. So great comment. All right, Tiber says, morning, sun. All right, yep, sun's in here. Hope your weekend is well. All right, sim racing, coal equals taxpayer funded, super sites, and water that can never be used for human consumption ever again. Great, sim racer. I'll take it. Give it to me. I want all of it. All right, Justin. Again, you guys that are the tree hugging hippies, you're going to save the planet. You're the super smart academics. Good. Go into how do we clean these sites up? Because at the end of the day, without energy, none of this shit is possible. And again, you guys that think that we can run this country on wind farms and photovoltaic cells, you guys are batshit crazy. So, all right. So Justin, the WD12 capitalists are concerned. Capitalists are concerned with profits, not prosperity of the people except themselves. Well, of course. And again, this is the best thing about all this energy coming into America, right? The oil companies are going to get fat and happy, which again, none of those benefits are going to come down to the average worker, right? None of those benefits, unless it's jobs, right? Unless it's, if you build another refinery, right? If you, what's another good example here? If you have infrastructure, right, that supports the energy industry, right, this then props up small businesses, right? You're going to get gas stations, you're going to get, probably Walmart, you're going to get communities, right? They're going to build homes around these particular sites, and that's good for the economy. But that stuff takes a lot of time, So again, if Trump can keep people buying energy over here, right, he can grow the oil and gas industry even more, even though it's the largest industry in the world for gas and energy. If we can do that, that's a good thing, But there's kind of a cost trade-off, right? Would you guys rather spend your resources creating refineries, or would you rather spend your resources creating housing, right? Would you rather spend your resources getting the cost of healthcare down? Again, it's all a trade-off, and the truth is you guys don't have a say. So which is too bad. Again, we thought that when we elected Donald Trump that we were going to have a say. We were electing someone that was really working on the issues that were important to us, and the truth is it's all bullshit, which is too bad. All right, Xanatos Gambit. I don't know if I'm saying your name right. I hope I am. Okay, I would take. See, it would take about 8 or 9 years to set up a proper crude refinery. Every administration says it takes too longer, but just by when they could have done it by now. Yeah, and again, this is what like I said, I talked about this earlier. This is what every administration does. Oh, we need to win another election in order to make this thing happen. Oh, you got to vote Republican for this. Oh, you got to vote Democrat for this. We got to keep this thing going. Oh, next election cycle, you're going to see the benefit. Next election cycle, you guys are going to get what you were asking for. Just keep voting for us. This is the scam, right? It's a total scam, and it's I thought people were pretty wide eyed to this, but I'm not sure people are. Like when I get on X, when I get on, I watch like Fox News and stuff like that. Like it's like people still believe this shit. Like they still believe like it's 1990 or something like that. It's I don't know if it's bots, if it's bullshit, but I don't know anyone that supports what we're doing here in this country, But apparently a lot of people do, So great comment. But yeah, it takes a long time to make these things happen. Let's see. All right, Abby Sadia's back in here. Okay, are we great yet? I know, man. It's golden era, right? Do you guys feel like it's the golden era? Again, I'm not so sure. All right, Tiber says our largest refinery in the U.S. isn't owned by the U.S. oil industry, Saudi Arabia. Oh, is it? Wow, Titan, I didn't know that. I knew that over in California, Exxon and Valero had some refineries, and they're actually leaving. So I don't know if they're going to sell those to other interests, and that those refineries are going to be picked up by somebody else. I don't know. But again, I'm not an oil expert by any means. So Titan, thanks for the information, man. All right, Biznotch, if I can get 100K saved, I figure it will be okay to survive after that. Yeah, 100K. 100K doesn't go as far as it used to, guys. I used to think that if I could make $20 an hour, I'm good. I remember those days. Like I was like, my God, if I could make $20 an hour, I could buy anything. Now I need about 250K a year. That's what I need. I got to make like as a business in order to stay middle class, guys. I have to generate about $2 million in revenue just to stay middle class, right? That's what I got to generate in order to pay all my guys, in order to pay myself something, pay my wife something, and ideally I need to make about three, So there's some numbers for you guys. Okay, Jess of EWW120, absolutely biz, especially if you invest in it right now. Yeah, and again, everyone's investing. I don't believe in investing. All right, Celebration Central 529. We all know the reason why Iran happened. The files kept looking worse and worse every drop. Yeah, and again, I'm with you guys. Like, I at this point, I think that a lot of this Epstein stuff has dictated what Trump has done. Again, Trump will always claim, "Oh, we released." You'll always hear the who's that dumb blonde communicator chick for Donald Trump. I forget what they call her. The news chick. She always says that, oh my God, Donald Trump is the only president that would have released the Epstein files, that would have signed the Epstein files. And again, what she conveniently leaves out is Donald Trump had no choice. It was a veto-proof majority. So he had to sign it. He had no choice in the matter. Again, I think most people just don't understand that. All right, electric pigeon, great name, man. I'm a bird guy. I like your name. Hey, man, can I be a moderator? Nope, not right now. We got enough moderators. Again, if one of the moderators wants to leave electric pigeon, you can certainly step in. All right, Ellie, 77 million votes for him. Yeah, he did okay, man. And again, super controversial guy. So clearly people believed his message, and a lot of people, bounced from the Democrats to go vote for him. A lot of independents that might have wanted to vote Democrat jumped ship and voted for Trump. So again, his messaging was good. Okay, let's see. And that 77 million support is slowly fading over. Slowly, Xanos? Man, it's fucking cratering. I don't know a single person that voted for Donald Trump that is now going to vote for him again, or that believes that this was a good vote, or believes that he's executing on his campaign promise. I don't know a single person. And again, maybe I don't know a lot of people, which I don't, but at least in my orbit, I don't know about your guys' orbit, but the real people that I talk to, no one supports what's going on in this country. No one supports what Donald Trump is doing in the Middle East. And I don't know. Maybe it's all the algorithm that's talking about supporting this whole war effort. All right. Invite the light reading. Trump works mostly off of executive orders, even though he is legally conducting this war. He's illegally conducting this war. So I'm not even sure him becoming a lame duck is the biggest deal, unless we're talking about impeachment. Yeah. And again, you're 100% right. And that's a good point. Everything Donald Trump is doing is basically executive order based. Donald Trump has got 4 bills through Congress, right? One was the One Big Beautiful Bill, which had $180 billion strictly for mass deportations. He's not doing any of it, right? The other thing he got through, the Lake and Riley Act, the Genius Act, and there's one other bullshit thing. Again, fucking nothing, guys. Absolutely nothing. This guy's got nothing through. Everything is an executive order. Even the Doge cuts. The Doge cuts. There was $200 billion identified in the Doge cuts. They codified $9 billion of it. Not even 10%. Like nothing, guys. And again, once Donald Trump is out of office, guess what happens? The next president can wipe the slate clean and start over. And this is part of the problem in this country, guys. No one's going to invest in this country. No one is going to do long-term thinking here, right? We can't be like China, right? Because again, we have elections every 2 years technically. You got 2 years to get something done, then you got to go into campaign mode. You got 4 years as a president to get some stuff done. And again, Titan, was it Titan or was it Xantos? I think was saying that it takes 9 years to build a refinery. Okay, how do you? Again, when you got one side that believes we need solar panels and wind farms, and the other guy's saying all hands on deck, we need every kind of energy we can possibly get in this country, and it's all done through executive orders, nothing ever happens, guys. This is where we're at, and this is one of the again, I'm not a fan of the way China does their government, but at the same time, like we got to get on, we all got to get on board with something that we can all agree upon. And again, I feel like Donald Trump's messaging, America got on board with this guy's messaging, and now he's not executing any of it. He got a little bit of pushback on the tariffs. He got some pushback on the mass deportation. He's like, "Fuck it, let's go to war." and now he's got all the time in the world for that. You guys notice this? Like people push back against Trump, and he could care less. He doesn't. Soldiers die over there. Needless wars of choice. Again, he doesn't care. No big deal. But we got a couple people die in Minnesota when we're trying to execute mass deportations, and it's like, oh my god, massive pushback from everyone. Like, you guys see the problem here? So anyway, you guys give the guy no choice. If he needs a W, all he can do is go to war. You won't give him a win on anything that he campaigned on. The Congress sure has a lot to say about a couple of blue-haired, bullring nose and dykes dying in Minnesota. It got super concerned about that. But an entire war in the Middle East, the entire world being shut down, and energy prices going through the roof, inflation going through the roof. No one gives a fuck. Yeah, I hope I painted a clear picture for you guys there. Our priorities in this country are just all way off. And we're so easily swayed and our attention distracted. It's wild, guys. So anyway, we should dig into the bulk of our conversation. Let's again, we got so many comments in here, guys. I'm way behind. You're gonna have to do super chats and super gifts at this point. There's no way I'm gonna be able to keep up with comments. I'm gonna do 3 more comments, and then we're gonna get into the bulk of our discussion. Let's see if we got any regulars in here. Credential commentary. I've never seen you before. 170 innocent Iranian children, girls, unalived by Trump. Yeah, and again, this is one of those talking points. And again, if this was a war of necessity, that would be okay. But this is a war of choice, so that's not okay. But it is what it is. And again, an entire country decimated by our military. Our president asking for $200 billion in weapons. Again, $1.5 trillion budget for the military to conduct war. Again, I don't think this is right. This is a war of choice. And again, we can argue whether or not Iran was working on having a nuclear weapon. We can argue whether or not Iran was going to nuke Israel. We can talk about all the kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, Trump ran on bringing people home. Trump ran on focusing on America, right? So if all these guys want to fucking kill each other, personally, I don't care. I could care less. Like, let them all kill each other. I don't. I care about the cost of gas. I care about the cost of housing. I care about my 9 guys having a job. That's what I care about. Again, we're $40 trillion in debt. I care about that, right? I care about the Department of Defense not passing it on. I care about people not being able to afford healthcare. I care about our country not taking care of itself. People not exercising, people not getting outside, people addicted to their screens, right? These are the things that I care about. And Donald Trump won overwhelmingly on a message about working on this country. And he's not doing it, So it's very frustrating. But I like your comment. Tiber says the problem with the this alleged pedo ring is actionable evidence. So far, there isn't any as far as we know. And again, Titan, and I agree with you, man, and you're 100% right. But the picture, and again, I've done a million streams on this at this point, the picture of what this Epstein situation creates is that basically we all have to kind of agree. I think we could all agree at this point. The modeling agency is disgusting. The modeling industry, the fashion industry, these industries are inextricably linked to pedophilia, to the objectification of women, to at best, a very pedophile happy group of people, right? And again, if you factor in Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, right, being Mossad, you factor in the audio that's been leaked of Ehud Barak talking to Jeffrey Epstein about what he needs to do once he's no longer the prime minister of Israel, and him basically telling him, hey, you need to go talk to Palantir. And again, this was back in the 90s, right? So there are a lot of dots, right, that we could put. And it doesn't create a perfectly clear picture, but when the federal government doesn't release the 3 million files that they're supposed to release, when Congress doesn't come in and say, you know what, hey, CIA, you need to fucking tell us everything you know as well, because the Epstein Transparency Act, which was released November 19, 2025, didn't include the CIA. Okay, so there's a lot more information that we need about this thing. And again, if you look at all the people that are in this particular group of documents, again, these are all high-powered people. They're all linked to, not all, many of them are linked to Mossad. Many of them are linked to the fashion industry, right? Many of them are linked to modeling. Many of them are linked to places that get girls, right? And you had Melania come out the other day, saying that, hey, I'm not a part of Epstein. Epstein didn't introduce me to Donald Trump. I met Donald Trump by chance. And she's trying to really distance herself from her relationship with Ghislaine Maxwell, which, again, we hadn't really understood prior to this initial Epstein document dump. But now we're starting to see, we got images coming out, we got emails coming out. Clearly, Melania was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell. And odds are she was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell because Donald Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. Anyone that's been married for a long time, again, your spouse is going to have friends that you may not necessarily talk to every day, but you are generally friends with the same people, right? The husbands are friends with the husbands, the wives are friends with the wives, the girlfriends are friends with the girlfriends. It's very rare that your spouses have friends that you don't know about or that you never communicate with. Okay, this is not how a relationship works. Common sense tells us there's more to the story. And again, as long as the federal government refuses to release those extra 3 million documents that they were congressionally obligated to release, conspiracy will abound. So the question is will America tolerate it? Are we tired of being told, you know what, you can't know all there is to know about JFK? 60 years later, you can't know all there is to know about MLK. You can't know all about thing ABC until America says, you know what, go fuck yourselves. We get to know this information. Congress get to work. We'll never know, and the conspiracies will abound. So, Titan, I like your comment, dude. Okay, guys, I have to talk. Again, I can't keep up with comments. Let's dig into the bulk of our discussion, and then we'll dig back into comments and we'll get after it. Again, got my Pete's coffee this morning, so I appreciate everyone being here today. Okay, so let me flip all my notes here. So I want to go over with you guys. The bulk of the discussion is Trump is a mad king, right? A couple questions that I want to ask. Okay, and again, put in the comments what you guys think, and maybe I'm way off base here, but I want to talk about what we're doing right now, because I'm very concerned from an American culture standpoint. I'm very concerned from a belief in this country standpoint. I'm very concerned about our ability to get things done, our ability to be the greatest country that the civilization has ever known. I'm very concerned about our ability to execute on the things that we want when we vote. Right? I think that we're in a rough spot right now, guys. So what I want to go over is I've got 2 pages of all the most important lies that have been told to the American people, and then what were the result of those lies. These are things like the Vietnam War, right? These are things like going into Iraq, right? These are things like 9/11, right? And these are all authentic lies, right? These are all things that we've said. Again, they were conspiracy at the time, but now that we've gone back and we've looked at the evidence, we realize that these things were correct. Okay, we're seeing a lot of that today. It's like we refuse to learn from the past, right? We refuse to go back and say, hey, you know what? Why did you lie to us, right? Where is the accountability? Okay, if you guys have noticed, there's no accountability, right? When Trump was put into office, he said, we're going to go after the deep state. We're going to go after all the people that went after Donald Trump, right? The people that created laws to go after this man. He's done none of it. Okay, again, you guys saw what just happened to the Eric Swalwell guy. Eric Swalwell was one of the guys that was going after Trump, by the way. He was one of these guys. You remember he was banging that Chinese spy Fang Fang, And again, the guy was just constantly going after Trump. Well, come to find out, the guy's a complete piece of shit. And he was going to run for governor, and again, he's always attacking Trump. Well, come to find out, the guy's kind of a liar, And again, this is true for a lot of politicians. But anyway, I don't want to go on the subject. Eric Swalwell is one of the guys that Trump was supposed to go after. Also, that piece of shit, Adam Schiff, right? Go after that guy. There's a lot of these guys that are just horrible human beings that push these lies, things like Russiagate. And again, no accountability. Okay. So we want to go over those things. Other things I want to go over with, I want to talk about, can America really win a war anymore? Does America have the stomach to fight a real war? Does America really even care about winning wars? Because if we go over where Donald Trump is at in this situation over in Iran right now, the only reason we can't win this war, guys, if I'm being completely honest, is because we don't want to put boots on the ground. That's it. America, for whatever reason, can't accept casualties. Oh my God, we can't let soldiers die. So, like, you sure didn't give a fuck about all the Navy going over there. You sure didn't care about all the fighter jets. You sure didn't care about the increase in fuel prices. You sure didn't care about the depletion of munitions. The 200 billion Trump wants for war, the 1.5 trillion that he wants for the military. You guys sure don't care about that. But when it comes down to soldiers, oh, that's where you draw the line. Okay, and this is a fundamental problem with this country. And what I'm telling you guys all the time, America hasn't really declared war since World War II. Right? We haven't really went to war as a nation since then, because the truth is that Congress doesn't need to, right? The president doesn't need to. They just go fight these wars and spend all this money, to feed the military industrial complex here in America, and we all pay for it. And again, the government lies to us all the time, and we just accept it. So let's go over the lies real quick, and then I want to go over some of these great lies that we're told, to see if you guys recognize any of these, and then we're going to go over, can America actually win this war, right? Because Trump doesn't care, man. I'm here to tell you guys, Trump doesn't care. The average American doesn't care. They got so much other things to worry about, but you guys, they keep making you pay the money. And they keep funneling your guys' tax dollars into things that are fucking black holes, man. Things that don't help you guys in any way, shape, or form. And they cloak it. They cloak it in this patriotism. They cloak it in this America's going to be better. And it's going to be better for you guys, better for your children, those kind of things. And the truth is, guys, these are massive, massive lies. And I can't take it anymore, guys. Like, I'm so tired of seeing the average American guy just take it up the ass every day through high housing prices, high fuel prices, right? Cost of Monster Energy, right? The cost of taquitos, the cost of hot dogs, the cost of healthcare. We don't even want to have kids in this country because they're too expensive. Like, this is insane, guys. And again, look, don't worry about the high cost of living here in America. Go focus on the war in Iran. Like, look at all the tankers in the Middle East. Your lives are going to be so much better. Let's start buying all of our oil. It's like, what the fuck are we doing as a country, guys? Okay, here we go. I know everyone just loses me when I start ranting. Or I start losing you guys when I start ranting. All right, here we go. So, the big one that we want to talk about is, do you guys remember the Gulf of Tonkin? Okay. So, I'm not a military war historian by any means, guys, but I know when I hear this kind of stuff, I know that this stuff has been debunked big time. Okay. So basically what this was, the administration claimed the North Vietnamese forces launched 2 unprovoked attacks on U.S. destroyers, the USS Maddox and the USS Turner Joy, in international waters. This justified retaliatory strikes on the Gulf of Tonkin resolution. This is the thing that drew us into Vietnam, and it was a complete fabrication. Okay, this is something that, again, we've done numerous times throughout history, guys, and this is one of the things that your government, your military, your CIA, these guys do to get your guys' buy-in. And this whole Iran with nuclear weapons is the same exact thing. And again, Iran's been a problem since the 80s, right? So, if you really want to go back, since the 70s, right? And again, the American CIA is the thing that destabilized Iran. If you really want to go back into, I'm not a history buff, but you don't need to be a history buff to put all these pieces together. Okay, we started this thing because, again, we didn't want them to sell their own oil. Their oil needed to go out to the rest of the world. They needed to be part of this massive global industry that is the oil industry today. And again, so we deposed their leader. Okay, and then you get the Shah coming in, right? Which, again, was supposed to be our guy, and created this 40 years of bullshit that's been going on. Okay, we did all of this, right? If you look at what Saddam did when he was fighting Iraq in the 80s, okay, where do you think he got the chemical weapons from? He got them from us. Okay, and again, you guys don't have to believe any of this shit. Go do your research, okay? America has been doing this kind of shit since I mean, probably World War II, but again, we're just going back to the Gulf of Tonkin incident that took us into Vietnam. Okay, we've been doing this for a long time, and it's time to stop, guys. Because the truth is that why would we want to spend this money on Americans and making our country better when we can get the American people to fight other people? And this is the strategy, guys. And again, I thought the internet kind of opened up our minds to this and made us all a little bit more aware of what is going on because they'll always say, oh, God, the average American, they can't worry about this kind of stuff. The average American doesn't have time for this. The average American, the average American, the average American. Okay. When's the last time they helped the average American at all? They haven't, man. I'm so disgusted with what I've seen the last 15 years of my life. This is again one of the reasons I do this cast now. Is again, I'm so tired of seeing the average American take it up the ass. And it doesn't need to be that way. Again, we're going to print money no matter what. Like I've given up on the idea that the federal government is going to get its affairs in order, right? If we're just going to print money anyway, right? And money doesn't matter, why are we spending money on the American people? And they'll always say, "Oh my God, well, 48% of the federal budget, it's mandatory spending. 68% of the federal budget is mandatory spending, right? Medicare, Medicaid, and SNAP and Medicare, right? Helping out the poor. Okay, again, is that what we're going to do? We're only going to help poor people and we're only going to help old people? That doesn't seem like a good deal for the rest of us. That doesn't seem like we're spending our money an effective way, right? And again, if you look at who's in politics today, right, it's all geriatric old fucks protecting the old people, protecting the boomers, right? And again, the Democrats, the only thing they care about is sending money to the poor people so they can get their vote, right? So this country is not working for the average American, right? We're not getting young people excited about entering the workforce, excited about starting a family, excited about getting their first home, excited about having kids, getting the dog, the fence, the whatever, the 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. We're not getting Americans excited about it. We're not doing any of that shit. It drives me crazy. So Gulf of Tonkin, I think everyone knows about that one, right? So again, drew us into this Vietnam conflict. Okay, jumping into the 70s. Okay, we got Watergate. You guys remember the Watergate cover? Again, the lies that were told by Richard Nixon. Okay, and again, once they figured out what was going on, the guy fessed up. He left office in disgrace, and that was the end of it, right? But again, the propaganda around the situation was just insane, absolutely insane. Okay, other things. Going into 2000s, okay, get a little more modern history real quick, okay? You guys remember the weapons of mass destruction? Yellow cake. Okay, where do you think that intelligence came from, guys? It came from Israel. You don't have to like it. That's just the facts, okay? Literally the facts, okay? Assertions of active chemical biological stockpiles, a reconstituted nuclear program, including yellow cake uranium and aluminum tubes and centrifuges, mobile labs, ties to Al Qaeda. Does this all kind of sound familiar, guys? And again, you can say, oh, this is different. Okay. Again, I don't believe you. Okay. Oh, well, they're going to bring the war to America. You're going to have another 9/11. Al Qaeda's coming here. The Houthis are coming here. Hezbollah's coming here. We're next. You're next, America. I don't believe you. Okay, that's why I say on this cast all the time, great, bring it, motherfuckers, because finally we will get an American war, an American military that will go to war to win. I'm tired of this fucking, let's go send the ships over there. Let's go send the aircraft. Let's do anything other than boots on the ground, okay? Because again, here's the truth, guys. What it's going to take to end this conflict, again, we're going to get to this where we're at in this Iran conflict. What it's going to take is America sending 300,000 people over there and fucking this country in the ass, which is what America does, except that we don't do that anymore. We walk right up to the line. We spend all the money. We get America worked up. We make sure that every American's terrified of what this conflict could potentially be, and we spit every counterfactual we can possibly spit through the media, through X, through Instagram, through everywhere we possibly can, get you guys all worked up. And then nothing happens. And then you're left with that threat lingering for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, instead of working on the things that you guys really need, which is cheaper fucking housing, cheaper healthcare, maybe some daycare, right? Bringing the cost of energy down, right? So again, if we're doing this war, right, in the Middle East, it's going to be great for energy prices. How come energy prices never come down? Energy prices haven't come down in my lifetime. They only go up. The only time energy prices came down, guys, was COVID and 9/11. That's it. So again, when Donald Trump tells you guys, when the Republicans tell you guys, when all the guys on X tell you guys, oh my God, this is going to be great, energy prices are coming down. Fuck you. They're all lying to you guys. And most of these guys are paid shills anyway, which is kind of disgusting. So anyway, so again, 9/11, right? The weapons of mass destruction, again, one of the greatest lies in my lifetime. And again, I even signed up for the army to go fight and kill terrorists. I wanted to go kill terrorists. I was so pissed off about 9/11. and this is what you need in this country. Unfortunately, this is what you need. But we don't do that. We don't fight these kind of wars anymore. We don't go to war as a country. Your CIA goes to war. Your military industrial complex goes to war. Maybe a side of your, whether it's Democrats or Republicans, they go to war. Maybe your president goes to war, but he never takes the people to war. He'll take the military, but he never takes the people. Okay. And this is one of the reasons we got to be very cautious about what our administration is saying, about what this president is saying. Okay. Couple more things, guys, and then we'll dip into comments. So in the 2000s, the greatest lie was this yellow cake, this weapons of mass destruction. Again, all the proxies, except it's instead of Al Qaeda this time, it's the Houthis and the Houthis and not Al Qaeda. God, there's so many fucking proxies at this point. Like I can't even remember all of them. So yeah, there's more of those proxies. Okay, here's the other thing. In the 2010s, right? You guys remember this one? Let me see. Make sure I get the verbiage right. If you like your healthcare plan, you can keep your healthcare plan. You guys remember that one? How'd that work out? Again, I remember when they doubled my healthcare premiums. I remember that. That was awesome. Thanks, Obama. But now, do you guys feel like that's true today? Do you like $5,000 deductibles? Do you like $150 copays? Right? Do you like paying $2,000 a month for insurance for your family? Hey, you like your healthcare plan? You can keep your healthcare plan. You just might not be able to afford it, but you can keep it. That was a great lie. Again, you think it was great letting all of the insurance companies stay in the healthcare system, because that's ultimately what the ACA did. Like Obama had the choice. He could have made it single payer. Again, he could have went the Bernie Sanders route. And again, I'm not a Bernie Sanders supporter, but as I look back further on that, that's what should have happened. If you were going to do this anyway, by letting the insurance companies in there, you let the fox in the hen house, and that's why your guys' healthcare will never go down. These things like oh god, I don't want. It doesn't matter. Point is that it was a massive lie. Okay, it's one of the largest, the most consequential lies of the 2010s in that particular decade. Okay, other things, the COVID lab leak. All right, again, all of the lies around COVID. Again, common sense was actually correct when it came to COVID, but again, you had all the experts, all the Fauci, the Trump, the Biden, the National Institute of Health. Again, the God, it's not the WTO. Who's the I forget the name of the World Health Organization. Is that what it's WHO? So many freaking acronyms. Again, all these guys lied. It's the pangolins. It's China. It's like, Jesus Christ, guys. Like, we were told so many lies about this stuff. And again, now that we look back on this thing, it was a lab leak. That's all it was, which is kind of what everyone thought, But again, America was operating in China because they couldn't do that work here in America. And again, America still never actually even admitted to this, but that's what happened. We funded the research being done in China. The thing got out, which can happen. And again, the rest of the world suffered for it. And again, I think we're still trying to blame China for this. America did this, guys. America created COVID. Okay, and again, we're not supposed to say any of this stuff. This probably is not going to go out to anyone at this point. America did this. Okay, this whole Strait of Hormuz thing that's going on right now, America did this. Trump's trying to blame everybody for this situation. Okay, America did this, guys. Okay, we're not going to get into the 9/11 conspiracies, but anyway, these things are crazy lies. Okay, other things that happened were the inflation is transitory. You guys remember that? Remember the Fed? Inflation's transitory. I mean, again, what inflation shoot up to 9% before the Fed finally said, "Oh shit, it's not very transitory." We got that one, and then we got the whole Afghanistan war thing. You guys remember the Afghanistan war thing? Leaving there again, we all see the images, And again, say what you will about Biden. I think Biden was right to pull out of there. Again, he did not do it correctly, but again, at least the guy got us out. At least the guy made the hard call, and it looked terrible for him. But again. Interesting time. So anyway, let's take it to comments, guys. I thought I'd read some of those things for you. So the government is capable of telling crazy lies, and they're capable of looking you guys straight in the face and telling you whatever they got to tell you to get what it is that they need. And this is it's offensive to me, as an American. So all right, again, guys, impossible to get through all the comments, so I'll scroll to the end like I've been doing. We're going to scroll to the end. We're going to scroll back a couple comments, and we'll start reading. You guys want your comments ready? You have to do super chats, super gifts at this point. There's just absolutely no way to keep up. So here we go. All right, so it says Israel has false flag attacked different people or itself like 11 times or something, 3 to the U.S. in 71 years. Yeah, Israel's not our friend, guys. And again, for whatever reason, we're beholden to this little tiny country that has no natural resources and offers America nothing, absolutely nothing. And again, you can say, well, they fight the terrorists, so we don't have to fight the terrorists. Okay, I don't believe you. I don't believe this country anymore. So if there was a material benefit for America to be over there, if there was a material benefit for America to defend Israel and to help prop this country up and help this country expand and to help this country proliferate, I'm on board. Like I'm all for it, right? A lot of times we'll say, well, they're the only democracy in the Middle East. Okay, well, great. Why do we do so much business with all the monarchies? Because it seems like we don't give a fuck if you're a democracy. All we care about is, do you have oil, right? Why do we deal with Saudi Arabia? Why do we deal with Qatar? Why do we deal with Abu Dhabi, right? We deal with these people because they got fucking oil. That's it, right? Again, why do we make all of our shit in China if we care about democracies? They're a communist country, right? Nobody cares about democracy. It's a massive lie, right? Again, why is all the furniture made in Vietnam, right? Again, this is a communist country, right? But again, it's all a lie, guys. Like the whole thing is a giant scam to get you to send munitions and dollars to these places. That's all it is, guys. And again, if Israel was our real friend, we would occasionally get something from Israel that helps out America, but we get nothing, right? They got diamonds, they got pharmaceuticals, they got a tech industry. Like, you know, I don't know. Sorry, son. I like your comment, dude. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. See, this is God. I cannot say your name. I don't know. You're something stormtrooper. All right, I remember when they doubled my health care, but I still vote Democrat. Yeah, they doubled my health care, and I've never voted Democrat in my life. So I guess you're a Democrat voter. Great, good for you. All right, I don't think that's what I said, but Flock 5395. Don't leave out climate change. Yeah, we could talk about climate change. Climate change is real, guys. Like I'm one of these guys. Like I said, I don't discount climate change. Again, you can't have all the gases and all the crazy shit that we do here and not have an effect on the climate. You're dumb if you don't think that there's climate change in this world. But is it as much of a problem as we make it out to be? Because again, all the people have been talking about climate change for the last 30 years. You notice they all live on the water. Like clearly they're not too worried about rising water levels. I'm not too worried about the polar ice caps melting and suddenly the coastline in Florida is a problem. They all still live on the ocean, by the way. Same thing with like Barack Obama. All these guys, they live right on the water. So clearly they're not that worried about it. They still fly around in their private jets, spewing tons of carbon, all over the place. They clearly don't care about that much. So again, it's climate change is real, but the people that push it, they're all full of shit. It's all a grift to get your money, to buy their books, to do their research. College, again, academia is a massive scam, in many ways, because it promotes this shit. It tells these young, impressionable kids that climate change is the most consequential thing when they leave college. They literally don't want to have kids because they're worried about climate change. Again, academia brainwashes people with this kind of shit. And again, I'm not brainwashed by it. I still believe climate change is real. It's just not as big of a problem as everyone paints it out to be. And we can do something about it. As technology proliferates, right, as our civilization grows, we will figure out how to get more solar power, more wind power, but you gotta make energy viable and cheap enough to be able to do that research for the average American to be able to live and exist, right? You can't crush the average American, because academia says it's a good idea and we gotta, do wind turbines and photovoltaic cells, So, all right, Stewart, 2004, Democrats created COVID. No, dude. Okay. Ellie's here. Ellie, good to see you. We went into Iraq. We won within 6 weeks, but dragged it out for years. Yeah, and again, this is the thing. When and I remember that very clearly. When we went over to Iraq, we decimated them. Again, this wasn't even a real army. This wasn't even. I mean, they had their military, but again, it wasn't shit. I mean, we all remember storming Normandy, going over there, just tanking everyone to death. It was pretty cool. But we sent the nation to war. We had the boots on the ground. We had the air. We had every facet of the campaign that we needed to actually win the war. We haven't done it since. We don't send troops over where it needs to go. And again, it's one thing to destroy a bunch of things, a whole other thing to keep it, right? To contain it, to actually go in and do the nitty gritty. You got to have people on the ground, So we don't want to do it. So this campaign in Iran's never going to work. Again, these guys are dug in. They're literally got hundreds of miles of underground networks. Again, you can bomb the shit out of me. Not going to do anything. They're still going to mine the Strait of Hormuz. The threat of destroying ships is going to keep them moving through the strait. And again, Trump can blockade it, just close it all off, and that's fine. What's he just going to hang out there? Again, he can try and cut off the water. He can cut off the power. He can try and cut off the food. He can wait them out, like they did in medieval times, like you're sieging a castle. He could do that. But every day, guys, the cost of energy is going to go up. The cost of everything you guys buy is going to continue to go up, right? So these guys aren't fighting the same war that Iran is fighting. Iran's fighting an asymmetric war. They're hoping that people get so pissed off with paying this high cost of energy, right? They're hoping that people get so pissed off about, again, Are you worried about Iran getting nuclear weapons? Or are you worried about paying fucking $5 for gas? Right? And again, the war hawks and the neocons are going to tell you, yeah, but you sure won't care about high gas prices when those bombs start flying off. Not first nuke hits America. Okay, these people are disgusting. Okay, and again, as Americans, you got to pick a side. At some point, you got to be able to tell you know what, go fuck yourself. Iran, talk about nukes flying into this country. Go fuck yourselves. Shut your mouth. That is not going to happen. You're full of shit. Get out of there. Get back to America. Start working on this country. Stop trying to fearmonger everyone in this country into doing what it is you want them to do. Why don't you fearmonger the people that make housing expensive? Why don't you fearmonger the people that are the insurance companies? Say, hey, motherfuckers, you get out of healthcare. You make healthcare more affordable. Or guess what? We're going to fucking nuke your industry. Okay? They never say that because they're all bought and paid for. Again, these guys can't buy Iran. They can't pay these guys to do what it is they want them to do. And this is the problem. So they stoke fear. They stoke all these credible threats. They get you guys terrified of this thing that you're never going to see. That has never been a problem in the history. Again, we go back Gulf of Tonkin, did the same thing in Vietnam. Go back 2001, did the same thing with Yellow Cake. Okay, again, these are all credible threats. They're fear tactics. It's like, how long do we want to put up with this shit? How long are we going to let these people say this stuff before we're going to push back and say, shut your fucking mouth? Okay, gas is too expensive. Homes are too expensive. But Iran, shut the fuck up. What are you going to do for my taxes? My taxes are too high, okay? My kids need clothes, right? I need to buy a new car. My fucking car is falling apart because, again, you guys have been producing everything with engineered obsolescence for the last 20 years. You haven't made a fucking thing that lasts longer than 3 years in my entire life. When are you going to work on that shit? But Iran, fuck you, okay? Until this happens, guys, you guys are going to continue to be in the same situation. It's just it's wildly frustrating. So sorry, scroll to the end. Again, appreciate everyone being here this morning and hanging out. You got me all worked up. Who is this? We got who's this? Sorry Joker 11. Okay, looks like it's Feathers Russell, this guy. Fuck me, I'd rather be dead and broke than ever something like him. Okay, great comment, dude. I appreciate it. Hit the like button out of the discussion. I appreciate it. Subscribe. All right, a true leader would work with Congress and respect the judiciary as both being equal branches of government. Yeah, Titan, but again, we could put the blame at the foot of the president, right? And again, where's Congress? Congress has the power of the purse. Congress could yank funding for all of this. Congress could mandate a declaration of war. In fact, they tried twice already, and no one votes for it. They can't get anyone on board. Because again, APAC owns Congress, by the way. Maybe I'm speaking out of my mouth there, but this is what I honestly believe. That's why I think Democrats aren't pushing back hard enough. The Supreme Court of the United States, I think, has done a very good job checking Trump. I think they've been very fair for the most part. Giving Trump some wins, but also knocking his dick in the dirt, especially when it comes to things like tariffs. They're making him act within the law, which is fantastic. But Congress, I think, is the real problem here, guys. I think Congress just does not represent the people anymore. And I could be really wrong, but Titan, great comment, man. All right, Son says, LOL, Colbert, Likens delivered justices to the island, pedo cult. All right, not sure what you're saying there, Son. All right, let's go Trump. All right, man, we got people that like Trump. That's good. Let's see, even your neighbor. Okay, that's a kind of a garbage comment. Energy, healthcare, insurance, food prices never go back down. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it. Like I said, I think you guys are in trouble. And again, as I get older in life, I realize, like, I used to be one of these guys. Like, I was like extremely low taxes, right? Less government. Balance the budget. Let capitalism be capitalism. These kind of things. Fuck the poor. And as I get older, what I'm realizing is, like, there's a completely different game being played. And again, Congress doesn't care about the poor. They actually give the poor money specifically for votes, right? Businesses, large corporations actually want more people to be poor. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get people out of the workforce. They find it to be cheaper to keep people on welfare than to employ them, right? They allow the third world to come in here so they can employ those people because they're better workers, right? They could give a shit about regulations. They'll work all the overtime. They don't care about a lot of different things. And this is what I think is really going on. Also, the large businesses, they make all the shit in the third world, and then the government incentivizes you guys to go to college. And while they're sending all the real work to the third world, you guys are going getting degrees. And some of you guys are getting great degrees. You're making good money. You're providing a lot of value, but most of you guys aren't. You're average, right? Which is I'm average. Everyone here is average. And this is the law and the rule of averages. I always lose people when I say this kind of stuff, but we're all average. The truth is, guys, the country has to work for average people. And as I get older, man, I'm realizing it doesn't. Like a lot of the game isn't aligned for you guys to win. In fact, it's very difficult. They want to basically keep you guys working forever and give you just enough to get by. And again, I don't it wasn't that way for me growing up, man. It wasn't that way when I was in my 20s. I bought my first home making 15 bucks an hour. I paid $99,000 for it. Again, I always drove BMWs. I always had nice European cars. Again, I worked my ass off, but I never graduated high school. I always could buy steak if I wanted. I could buy beers. I could just do for the most part what I wanted to do as a normal average Joe, and that is gone. And I don't see our government working on that. It's always, hey, next election cycle. Oh no, we got to do this thing, and then we'll work on your issue. Like, oh, if we do this thing, it's going to make your life better, right? They always promise and they just never deliver. And again, when you guys go to the ballot box and you vote, you basically have shitty choice and shittier choice. It's never the choice that you want. You never get the politician that's going to work for your thing. And even if you do, right, then they become like a Thomas Massey. They get ostracized. They become Marjorie Taylor Greene. They get pushed out of Congress. They get attacked. Oh God, this person doesn't play well. Oh, this person, is making it impossible for us to do the things that we want to do. It's like, no, this person is telling the truth, and you guys hate that. So we got a lot of problems, guys. I mean, holy shit, man. We got a lot of problems working on this country. Okay, okay. Scrolling out of the end, guys. Again, a lot of comments coming in. I appreciate everyone being here this morning. I'm trying to go to people that we haven't heard from yet. Okay, this is our this is Raul Duke 7392. Citizens United equals monopolization and oligarchy. Yeah, and again, I'm on board with this, guys. We need to get rid of Citizens United. I don't know how we get Congress to focus on these things. Again, they're not focusing on things that are important to Americans already. But Citizens United, I think, is like fucking 100 in the list of 100 things that we need to work on in this country. But it's very important, and I'm on board. I was one of these guys. I thought Citizens United was going to be a great thing, and I was wrong. So I hear a lot of people say that. I think it's true. All right, let's see. Kenbo 1512 BMW big money waster. I thought it was burning my wallet. And again, I've always loved BMWs. But here's the thing about BMWs, Kenbo. Again, here we're gonna lose some people, but the thing about BMWs is that most people that buy BMWs, they buy them new. They wait till they get to 100,000 miles, and then they trade them and they buy another BMW. And then the people that then get them afterwards, they're like, oh my God, I got a BMW for $10,000, right? But the seals all go bad, right? You got to replace all the plugs. You got to replace all the pulleys. Like these are all things that got to be replaced. And again, they're just known for having these leaks. The differentials leak. There's a lot of problems with BMWs. But if you got a garage, if you got a set of tools, if you know how to work on cars, a $10,000 BMW is just as good as a $100,000 BMW, provided you spend $2,000. You swap out all the seals, all the gaskets, all the pulleys, and all the belts. You're golden, So, but again, I think most people, I think, don't really know how to work on cars anymore. All right, Tiber says our host voted Trump 3 times and only began questioning his efforts after being the opposite of what Trump ran in his campaign. Yeah, and again, this is the whole thing this channel is about. Again, 3-time Trump supporter. I love Trump. I love the man. I've liked it before he got into politics. I like his swagger. Trump is in my industry, which is furniture. Trump has had several furniture companies. He's worked with a lot of furniture companies to create lines of furniture for his own brands and for his hotels. The guy's a fascinating individual, but he 100% lied through his fucking teeth when he ran for president this time. And again, America jumped on board. They liked his message. He had a winning message. He still has a winning message, but he has sold his soul, I believe, to the state of Israel, right? Because he got all this money, all that AIPAC money, all that Miriam Adelson money, all that Sheldon Adelson money, and for whatever reason, this guy is captured. And I don't know if it's because his daughter is Jewish, his son-in-law is Jewish, the people in his cabinet are all Jewish. I don't know if that's a thing, but again, I'm starting to believe that that's got something to do with it. And you couple things like Jeffrey Epstein with us, which is essentially a massive honeypot blackmail operation around his industry, which is fashion and modeling, right? You couple all these things together, and it doesn't look good for Americans. And again, the guy's message was so good, Titan. It was so good. Like, and at this point, I'm like, fuck this guy. I'm never going to vote for another Republican until the Republican Party brings me Caesar. Until he brings me someone that can, again, when the protesters are crying and they're getting in front of the cops and they're getting in front of CBP and they're getting in front of ICE and ICE just doesn't fucking mow them down and start grabbing illegals and kicking them the fuck out of here. Until that person shows up, I'm voting Democrat. Okay, I'm through trying to vote for Republicans. Like I had the guy that I wanted. Everything was there. Everything was there. And it didn't matter. Special interest won again. Big business won again. And it's just like, yeah, like this entire channel is focused on making sure this guy never gets into politics again. I want Democrats to win in November. I want them to impeach him and kick him out. I want him gone. I want him to kick out Pete Hegseth. I want him to kick out Howard Lutnick. I want the Democrat Party to just go through his cabinet and just start getting rid of everyone. Okay, I'm wildly frustrated with this. And again, it sounds like I got TDS, but I don't. Again, I'm an American business owner. I'm a furniture maker. I got 9 employees. I need to be able to make money. I need to be able to make sales. I need the people that buy my shit to feel good about this country, right? I need my guys to feel like they can start a family, that they can buy houses, that they can do the thing that I did, that we did as young Americans right back in the 90s and the early 2000s. These guys need to feel what we felt about this country, what we felt about growing up, what we felt about work, right? What we felt about providing goods and services to other people, right? Because nothing feels better than doing something that someone else says, great, that's awesome. Thanks. Oh my God, that's incredible. How'd you do that? Wow, that's really cool, man. Here's some money. Okay. That is a good feeling. And then you take that and you go buy a house. And then maybe you go buy a nicer house. Maybe you go buy a nicer car. Maybe you take your kids on nicer vacations. Maybe you buy your kids more clothes. Maybe you take your wife out to more dinners. This is what America is, and the problem is that we're not getting that life back. And I only see it getting worse, guys. So yeah, this is what we do on the channel. So Tight Man, I really appreciate making that comment. This is what I'm all about here. Data hoarders, America is so great that even those who hate it will never leave. Okay, again, not trying to leave this country. We're trying to make it better, dude. All right, yes, sir, buddy. So wait, you have a business and you're anti-Trump. I know, God, this is so hard for people to understand. Okay, let's see, which means you're a complete moron and your business is already a failure. Okay, yes, sir, buddy. Again, I've been in business almost 10 years. Again, that means that the hard part is over. Okay, most 80% of all businesses fail after 5 years. Okay, again, we're done 10 years. I got 9 guys that work for me. I hired another person this year. You can be a business owner and you can want less taxes. You can want less regulations. You can want all these kind of things and not like Trump, okay? Because trust me, it's possible. Okay, again, I've made money under every president. Again, I never graduated high school. I've only built furniture my entire life. I made money under Clinton. I made money under Bush. I made money under Obama. I made money under Biden. I made money under Trump. Okay, again, president doesn't really matter, right? But what I see for the people coming up after me is that it's getting harder and harder and harder. And again, our politicians aren't working for the American people. I see it plain as day. And again, Trump really had a good message. I mean, he really had a great message, and he just royally screwed people. And I'm very frustrated by it. Okay, let's see here. He got double banned. All right, not sure what's going on there. Skank and Tanky. Great name. Look at France and how they interact with their government. Okay, I don't know how they interact. Let us know what does France do? G Wilker. Ain't never happening again. Bow to your overlord's peasant. I know, man. I know. The old double whammy. All right, Oberson. What you need to start making a rational debate over the subject. Okay, then you need to start making a rational debate over the subject. Okay. Well, which part of the subject do you want me to make a rational debate over? Okay. Do you want me to make the rational debate over Trump as a mad king? Right. That's kind of where we started this discussion. Okay. Do you guys want me to talk about that? Like, happy to do it. Okay. Son says, Eric, did you peek at Irish protests? Yes, son. I looked at what's going on over there yesterday. Kind of crazy. The people are getting really pissed off. It looked like over energy was kind of the big issue, if I remember correctly. All right, Eddie Too Cool. Democrats lying, thieving, cheats have tried to impeach him twice. They brought up charges in New York. Beyond see something statute of limit. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Beyond statute of limitations, they hired a woman who claimed he raped her. Democrats lost. Yeah, and again, this is Eddie. Everything you said there is absolute facts. But the problem with what you're saying there is, again, part of Trump's platform was to push back on those kind of people. And again, where's the charges? Where's the accountability for doing that kind of stuff? Where's the accountability for people like Adam Schiff? Right? Where is the accountability for these people? I don't see it. Jamie Raskin. Where's the accountability for that guy? And again, everyone gave him a little bit of latitude because he had cancer. Well, he beat cancer. Okay, motherfucker. Now, the bills do. Okay. When you guys were pushing all this Russiagate stuff, again, yeah, that chick in New York, again, they literally went beyond the statute of limitations. He said that she said that he raped her, like 30 years ago. And again, like you can't live in a society that does that kind of stuff. But again, Trump's done nothing. And you guys notice Congress pretty much giving him a pass on everything. They've let him conduct this war. They've let him do pretty much anything he's wanted to do. They haven't pushed back on him very much, except when it came to mass deportations. They got no stomach for mass deportations. Again, the American people elected Trump to mass deport people. They gave him the money. Congress gave him the money. He won't do it. So yeah, again, 82 cool, man. I'm super frustrated by what I've seen there. All right, Overson, how did he screw people? Sure. Okay. How is he a mad king? Okay, cool. All right, let's dig into it. So let's dig into more of what we got going on here. Okay. So let's go with this idea, guys. Walk with me on this one, okay? Um, as 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 family members, right? And I'll say myself as a business owner, right? Do you guys have an obligation to your family? Like, are there certain things that you're supposed to do to your family, right? You know, food, shelter, clothing, these kind of things, right? You got kind of we have kind of like base obligations that we're supposed to do for the people that we're close to, right? Me as a business owner, right? My obligation to my employees is to sell a shit ton of furniture, set the standard so that they can then deliver a great product to our customers, and that we will then have repeat business. I will have more business, right? We have this obligation, right? What's the point of having a business if you're not going to take care of your people, right? Very important people understand this. Okay, now let's move on to politics. Okay, now when you vote for your local representatives, right, your city council, you vote for your state representatives, you vote for your Congress people, your senators, these kind of people. They have an obligation to you guys to do the things that they ran on, right? If they tell you guys they're going to cut taxes, they got an obligation to work on that, right? If they say that they're going to reduce your property taxes, they got an obligation. If they're going to put up a new firehouse, right? If they're going to kick out these data centers are a big thing, right? If they're going to push back against those things, this is what they run on. They have an obligation to do those things, right? So if we go to our president, right, and we say, you know what, Donald Trump, we elected you as president, right? You ran on again. We went through the 20-point MAGA plan like numerous times. I don't think I need to go through it again, right? We know what Donald Trump ran on. Okay, where is his obligation to us as taxpayers and as voters? This is the Mad King argument. Okay, again, where are the mass deportations? Right? We go the basic tenets of MAGA. Right? Where are the mass deportations? Okay, it's a pretty popular thing, right? He closed the border. Okay, the border's closed. Great. All right, moving on to the next thing. Right? Okay. Again, Donald Trump had a lofty list of things in order to get elected. He appealed to a lot of people. Therefore, he has a lot of obligations that he has to get to because we voted him into office. He works for us. Okay. The king doesn't work for anybody. Okay. So did we vote for high gas prices? Did we vote for did when Donald Trump was running for office? Do you guys remember him saying, "You know what? Fuck you guys. I'm going to make sure housing prices go through the roof. The boomers don't want their home prices to go down. I'm not going to fix housing. I would never I want housing prices to go up." You know, we heard those statements after he was elected as president, but we didn't hear those while he was running for president because everyone knows that those statements would be death. But he didn't say that stuff when he was running for president, right? So again, Donald Trump has an obligation to fulfill the mandates of the things that he campaigned on, right? So, what are some of the other things that Donald Trump ran on, right? Didn't he say something about getting energy prices down? Okay, well, again, we got all the fucking, we got all the oil rigs out there in the Gulf of America now, right? Is that going to bring the cost of energy down? Doesn't look like it to me. Do you guys look at the cost of energy this morning? Do you see what the barrel of oil is doing this morning? I haven't looked at it. My guess is it's probably well over $100 a barrel. What's happening? You know, again, the other thing that Donald Trump likes to do, if you guys haven't noticed this, is that he'll do one thing that's great for a day or two, and then way 180 degrees the other way. So these wild swings in the market, right? Did Donald Trump run on that? Did Donald Trump say he was going to have massive volatility in every single market? Did he say he was going to have the whole entire world fucked up? Did he? I don't remember him running on that, right? Was he picking fights with Europe, right? Was he, again, he's always talking about, oh my God, China's our enemy. China, 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 China. Okay, well, where are the massive tariffs on China, you know, to slow them down? Okay. There aren't any. Again, the Supreme Court shut him down. Donald Trump could try some other efforts, but you guys notice there aren't many efforts on the whole tariff thing. Right? Donald Trump said he was going to help on the healthcare front. You know, the Republicans are always saying, "Oh, we got a better plan for healthcare." Where's that plan for healthcare? I don't see anything. I haven't heard a fucking thing from these guys. Okay, because there's no plan. Right? Again, what are some of the other tenets that Donald Trump ran on? Right? Again, did I mention mass deportations? Again, that was a big one. Right? He started out big. He talked to, you know, Tom Holman's going to go in there. You know, he talked a big game, but what happened there? It's over. Again, now we're letting more people in through H-1B visas, right? Again, what are we going to do? He's talking shit on China again. Like, well, China's the enemy. China, 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 right? Okay, well, he let 600,000 Chinese people come into our research institutes. We are educating the entire world here. Like, what? I don't know about you guys, but if I was one of the people that had the $1.7 trillion in student loan debt for the bullshit degree that I got the last 20 years, I'd be pretty fucking pissed about the Chinese coming in here and utilizing our education system, right? Me as a taxpayer, every time I got to send money to research for whatever, for cancer, for automotive, you know, for pharmaceutical, like, I'm not real happy about that as a taxpayer. Okay, I'm basically paying for China to use our education system. I'm okay with that. Okay, again, Donald Trump said he was going to work on all these things. Okay, so at what point does the Mad King have an obligation to work on the things that he talked about on the campaign trail? At what point? because you guys seem to not really care about that. You seem to forget everything this guy ran on, or you dismiss it as being like, oh, well, he just couldn't do it. It's somebody else's fault. Okay. The problem is that when Trump runs up to Congress or he runs up against the Supreme Court of the United States, he doesn't want to play fair, right? He doesn't want to play the rules of the game the way the game is written, the game is meant to be played. He decides, well, I'm going to go do my own thing. And the only thing the president can really do all by himself is executive orders and war. And so that's all you guys are left with. So yeah, Trump is a bad king. Trump is not doing the things that he ran on. Everything that he proposes, he's not reducing taxes. And here, let me give you guys. Here, I'll give you Trump's biggest L. You guys want to know the best thing that Trump has done as a president, which is not talked about enough? Trump has cut the federal employment numbers by 10%. He's gotten rid of, I think it's somewhere between 200 and 300,000 federal employees. So if you want me to give Trump a massive win, probably a greater win than even the border, it's cutting the federal employment numbers. I want to say they got like 2.4 million people. The federal government is the largest employer in America. Trump's cut it down, like I said, significantly. So give that guy massive props, right? But guess what, you guys? You're never going to see that come back in the way of tax reductions. You're never going to see that the spending cuts come into play, right? Oh, we don't need as much money for this stuff. That will never happen. You guys are constantly asked to spend your 22.5% federal income taxes, and they'll just allocate that money for something else. They're never going to pay the debt down. They're never going to reduce your tax burden. They're going to keep throwing that fucking money into a black hole. And it's really frustrating. So again, Trump is a mad king at this point. He's so frustrated with the fact that he can't do anything that he ran on that it's actually difficult. He actually has to convince people, right? This is how our government works. You have to convince people to do the things you want to do. He convinced the voters to vote for him. So now he's got to go to Congress. He's got to convince Congress to do these things. He's got to convince the Supreme Court to not strike down the things that he wants to do. He doesn't want to do it. So he's just doing things that the mad king can do, which is go fight wars. Okay? And guess what? He's getting ready to push up against Congress here towards the end of April, right? And again, inflation, stacking. Inflation has been stacking since COVID, in case you guys haven't known this, right? The cost of everything in this country has basically doubled. It's only got up. What do they say now? They say, oh, it's 2.4%. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, but you're talking 31% since COVID on the averaging. You guys looked at the cost of hamburger? The cost of hamburger is doubled. It's doubled. Like hamburger used to be $5 a pound. I think it was $11 last time I looked. Okay, the cost of energy. Do you guys remember when gas was $1.50 during COVID, when prices actually went down because demand went down? Okay, what's gas now? $5 and a quarter, $5.50, or excuse me, $4 and a quarter or $5.50. Like, it's really expensive because Trump is not working on the supply side. Like, Trump understands supply and demand. He understands how economics works. You have to get more supply. He had the opportunity. He doesn't want to do it. He's deregulated. I'll give him that. He's deregulated so we could actually drill for more oil, which is good. He can deregulate, which he has been, for housing. That's good. But that doesn't produce a result for Americans. And again, he had to sell a massive list of shit to get done. He's not doing it, guys. And it's very frustrating as an American, as a 3-time Trump voter. I'm wildly frustrated. He gave me a nice tax cut. I bought a CNC router with it. Thanks, America. But I'm not going to hire anyone else. Hopefully I'm able to make things more efficiently, and I can deal with the reduction in sales that I have because, again, the housing market's fucked. The inflation is fucked, right? The cost of food is fucked, right? The cost of healthcare is fucked. He doesn't want to work on the things that the American economy needs, because he can't. This is why Trump is a mad king. Okay? He doesn't want to do any of it. And again, when America says to him, hey, Trump, you know what? Like, this isn't helping us. He's, oh, don't worry about it, Wagey. Don't worry about it. You surf. Like, again, this is going to help you later. This is going to be good for America in the long run. This is going to be good. This is a geopolitical issue you'll never understand. Like, I don't know how many times I've heard that kind of stuff. Like, Trump's playing 5D chess. Trump's playing 12D chess. Okay, no, he's not. He's just wanting to do what he wants to do. He doesn't give a fuck about you guys. And it's wildly. And again, I say this as a guy who voted for this guy he understands the housing market. He understands my business, furniture. Trump, go Google Trump talking about the furniture industry. There's numerous videos of him talking about how we got to protect furniture makers, how we got to protect this industry that we have in North Carolina, right? How we got to protect the industry in Michigan. He talks all the time, almost no action. So anyway, I think I can make the case for Trump being a bad king, and that he's in a lot of trouble, and Americans are souring on everything that he's selling because he didn't do the thing he said he was going to do. That's all he had to do. He could have let the Iran thing go. He didn't have to go over there. He chose to go over there. The Strait of Hormuz, guys, there was no tolls, right? Oil was $63 a barrel, right? No one was fighting about energy, right? There was no military blockades. We weren't spending $2 billion a day with our Navy. We weren't. He wasn't asking Congress for $200 billion for more weapons. He wasn't asking for a $1.5 trillion budget for the military. Like, I don't think people remember. Like, we got really short memories in this country. Okay, there was no problem over there. This was all in self-inflicted wounds, guys. Like, as a business owner, I can't create a problem so that I could solve the problem, right? This is what Donald Trump did. Okay, this is a mad fucking king. Okay, and again, if that doesn't make the case that Donald Trump is not operating in your interest and he's acting like a king, okay, I don't know what else will, guys. So again, let's read your guys' comments. You guys let me know where I'm right or where I'm wrong. I appreciate you guys throwing all the comments in here. If you guys are in the stream, hit the like button. Have a discussion. We only got 20 likes in here. Normally we got like 30 or 40 at this point. So hit the like button. Help a brother out here. Okay, here we go. Scroll to the end. We're gonna start reading comments again. You guys have to super chats, super gifts, to your comment read. Otherwise, I'll do the best I can do to go through them. All right, GCDAVX56. You need to be talking to other Democrats about that. This is pretty much conservative guidelines. In fact, that's what makes conservatism what it is. Okay, well, again, I'm not a Democrat. But what I understand, again, as I get older, I'm realizing that the average American isn't being helped by conservatism, right? And again, I'm a conservative guy. I want to like low taxes, get the fucking government out of my life. Again, we'll take care of ourselves, kind of a deal. But what I'm realizing is that both sides, they just want to spend money. That's all they want to do. They're going to buy votes, whether they're buying it from the poor or they're buying it from large corporations through things like tax cuts, tax carve-outs, adding regulations, EPA, OSHA. This is all the problems that we have here. Letting the illegals in here. This is what the government wants, right? They need to shore up Social Security and Medicare, so they bring the illegals in here who pay Social Security and Medicare taxes, right? Again, they'll never get the benefits, but they'll pay into the system to keep the boomers voting for conservatives, right? I see what's happening, guys. This is not a Republican issue or a Democrat issue, okay? But the average American is not getting the help that they need. The dollars that we're spending, again, if we're going to spend the money anyway, fucking money doesn't matter. Modern monetary theory is how it's going to be. Again, help the American people out. Instead of asking for a $1.5 trillion budget for the military, why don't you take that $500 billion because money doesn't matter? Why don't you invest it in housing? You could build 3.5 million homes a year with $500 billion. You could create 8 million jobs. Okay, and again, people will say, well, the cost of housing is going to go up. No, it won't. No, it won't. 100% will not go up. Okay, because again, the demand, right, will never outstretch the supply. The supply will grow so much faster than the demand. And here's another thing: you've already got the border closed up. The only people that we're letting in are H-1Bs, fucking Chinese, Indians, and people from Asia. Those people that we're letting in, right? We're letting in lots of agricultural workers. They're not buying houses. Okay, again, supply will outstretch demand, and guess what? But you're going to lose the boomer voter base. And again, they're all going to be dead in 20 years anyway, so it won't matter. But again, right now, it doesn't help your political ambitions. So what I see going on, same thing with healthcare, guys. Again, everyone says that they want cheap healthcare. Okay, why are we defending the rest of the world who all have free healthcare? Okay, again, bring those dollars back here. Let's work on healthcare. Okay, let's try single payer. Okay, again, I don't want to pay for it, right? But if I got to choose between spending money on bombs, spending money on NATO, spending money fighting the Ukraine war, spending money on Israel, I would much rather pay off student loan debt. I would much rather pay off medical debt. I would much rather try single payer in this country. Okay, and that's how I see it. Okay, and again, I'm not a Democrat at all. I've never been a Democrat. I've never voted Democrat my entire life. But as I get older, I'm seeing the amount of waste and the way that this country is slowly being death by 1,000 cuts. We got to make big changes. So, okay. Continuing through comments, guys. Appreciate everyone being here this morning. Happy Monday, everyone. All right, Sun says, let's see, disagree with Trump and spitting facts doesn't color you blue somehow. Yeah, I know, but everyone sees a binary, Sun. There's no way around it. Everyone sees, like I said, if you don't support the Iran war, you hate the military, right? If you don't support us being over in Ukraine, you hate America, or you love Russia. It's like the like, people really are fairly simple. Like, if I'm being completely honest, like it's I don't know, man. Nuances is tough. All right, Glenn Sharp, G4X. So you're okay with Iran with nukes, Pollyanna? Yeah, I know. Again, this is how it is. Again, I don't think that Iran is going to have nukes. I don't think it's a problem. And again, even if Iran gets nukes, countries don't drop nukes. Again, when I look at the history of every country that's got a nuclear weapon, okay, it actually stabilizes the region. It actually creates less conflict. And if you guys want to look at two countries that chose two different paths when it comes to nukes, right? You can look at Libya, right? You see what happened to Muammar Gaddafi, or you could look at Kim Jong Il and North Korea. Okay, again, similar countries, right? Took two wildly different paths. What happened? So again, North Korea's was always talking shit, right? Everyone's afraid North Korea's going to nuke South Korea, right? They're shooting missiles over Japan, all this kind of stuff. Well, what happened? Kind of toned down. It's not really an issue, right? We don't even talk about it. It's just literally not a thing that we even talk about anymore. Okay, now look at Gaddafi. Look what happened in Libya. Okay, again, shoved a pole up his ass. The country's been destabilized ever since that guy left. And again, if you guys look at the history of Gaddafi, Gaddafi took care of his people. You know what? Again, go, like, please, guys, like, go do a little bit of research about how that guy treated his people. You might not, you'll find all kinds of instances where I'm sure he was super repressive and he acted like a dictator and an authoritarian and all those kind of things. But again, he supported his people, gave them housing, subsidized energy, lots of education, right? And again, I'm not saying that's a good thing, because I'm sure there's lots of bad things that guy did, okay? But there is not a fiber in my being that believes that Iran was a threat to this country. Okay, maybe he's a threat to Saudi Arabia, definitely a threat to Israel, but that's Israel's problem. Israel made that bed. They're going to have to, Israel wanted to be there. They wanted to be around people that fucking hate them. Okay. That's on them. And again, if they want to destroy everyone in that region and they want to take them all over and make everyone Jewish and they want to make everyone play nice with them, I got no problems with it. It doesn't affect us. Okay. We got healthcare to worry about, and again, who's this? Glenn Sharp. You're going to be the guy that I'm talking about, who says, well, you know what? You sure are going to care about nuclear weapons when Iran starts dropping nukes on America. When that first nuke hits Wichita, Kansas, you sure are going to care about it then. Okay. Again, I'm done with your fucking dumb arguments, dude. I'm tired of it. Like, you sound like every politician and every person on X, right? You sound like these Trump cucks. Okay. Again, like, think a little bit. Like, give yourself a little bit of credit. Give your military a little bit of credit. Like, what you got so little faith in our military, so little faith in our CIA, our FBI, our intelligence. You got so little faith in all these people that they can't protect this country. These massive oceans that we have here. You don't think that these things help protect us? We actually have real allies to the north of us, real allies to the south of us. You don't think America's pretty safe? Okay. Again, you live in fear. You're one of these people that never got right after 9/11. You're one of these people that believe everything that your government tells you, while they inflate your entire life away, while they inflate the future generations' lives away, while they just print money at infinitum, while they don't make the Department of Defense pass audits. They don't audit Fort Knox, right? They don't audit the Fed. Like, you believe everything that you hear, dude. Like, go do some research, man. Like, geez Louise. All right, but I appreciate your comment. And again, I like when people disagree, but I like when people push back against me. I love going back and forth with you guys. It's very helpful. Okay, so guys, we're gonna do probably another 5 or 10 minutes here of your guys' comments, and then I'm probably gonna get out of here. So you want your comment, get it in here. Well, I'll speed run through your guys' comments. All right, Jacksonville Kid 1041. Right away, the Democrats and Republicans didn't like Donald Trump because he wasn't one of theirs. That's right. That's one of the reasons we voted for this guy. We like the fact that he would, like, say the uncomfortable truth. He'd be like, yeah, I buy politicians all the time. I bought Hillary Clinton. We like that about him, right? Which is, I think, why we believe what he was saying. So we believe that he would do the thing that he said he was going to do. And the truth is, guys, he hasn't done it. And again, if I stopped moving forward every time I got some pushback, okay, I would still be working in aerospace, right? My business would have crumbled years ago, right? But we keep pushing for the things that we believe in. When one door closes, we go find another door that opens. We go knock a hole in the wall. Like, we go do all kinds of things. Donald Trump should be doing that for America, but he's not. He's focusing on things that he's going to tell you are going to give you benefits in 3 to 5 years, because he wants you to vote for the next Republican. He wants you to vote for the JD Vance. He wants you to vote for the fucking next Republican. James Comer, Jim Jordan, Mike Johnson. All these people that have done nothing for you guys, right? This is who he wants you to vote for. So instead of giving you guys real tangible benefits today, he's trying to get you to latch onto something that will be there in 3 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years. Okay, and again, we could start this thing today. Yeah, if Donald Trump said, you know what, I'm going to push for $500 billion in housing. We are going to jumpstart the housing market, and we are going to fund all of the housing in this country. We're going to build 3.5 million homes today. If he did that, guess what? The trajectory of his presidency would change immediately. He won't do it. He's not interested. These aren't the people that pay him, right? This isn't the military-industrial complex, right? This isn't the pharmaceutical industry. This isn't the state of Israel, right? He doesn't give a fuck about the things that would actually help Americans. Because the truth is, guys, these are short-term gains. This would actually get the cost of housing to come down. This would energize the economy. Doesn't want to do it. Wants to pay for bombs, things we're going to use up right away. that aren't going to stay in this country for 30 to 50 years, which is how long the average home lasts. He wants to use things up right away. We need to spend this money right now. I need this money right now. There's a threat over here right now. This is what this guy's doing, guys. And again, this is what a lot of politicians do, if I'm being completely honest. So anyway, great comment. And again, Jacksonville Stud, I love your name, dude. Like I used to live in Savannah, and we go down to Jacksonville. It's the closest like big town we could go to. So we used to go to Jacksonville all the time. Great city. All right, the rest of the world doesn't have free healthcare. Holy shit. Okay, again, most of the places that we defend oversight. And oversight, I'm starting to think that you're just acting dumb for the sake of acting dumb. I don't think you're actually this retarded. Okay. Again, look at all the NATO countries. Find me a NATO country that doesn't have free healthcare. Does Israel have healthcare? What about Ukraine? Okay, go find me a country over there that we defend that doesn't have universal healthcare. And again, what are you going to say? Oh, they don't have universal healthcare. They don't have this. What are you going to pick? Like one or two things that they don't cover? Like, come on, dude. All right, let's see here. I'm out, kids. All right, later, dude. Appreciate being here. All right, Glenn Sharp says the military is a social program, dude. Hello. Great, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for that. I don't even know what the hell you mean by that. All right, Dora the Explorer, 67. He needs to take $1 trillion he has stole and the billions plus Steve Miller stole. Oh, Steve Miller stole all he has stolen from us. Well, again, I don't know if he's stolen it. He's just doing the same thing that politicians do. Which is print money. Again, the Fed right now, guys, is printing $40 billion a month. Okay, wait till inflation kicks up. They're still going to be printing money, but they're going to raise the interest rate, guys. That's what's coming. Okay, the Fed is they're going to continue to raise these rates. And the only thing that's going to fix it, guys, is that employment starts to grow. Yeah, like we need to get unemployment up to like 6, 7, 8% to really get the Fed to try and drop rates. But again, even if the Fed drops rates, guys, it's not going to matter. The cost of everything's still going to be hyper elevated until you crush demand or you increase supply. Trump doesn't want to do any of those things. He's not focused on any of it. The reason you guys have to spend $1 trillion on the military every year is because there's no competition. I say it all the time. There's like 8 companies. Again, I used to work for one of them called General Dynamics. There's nobody making these missiles. Again, what would you guys do if you had 10 companies making Patriot missiles, right? What would you guys do if there were, 30 companies, making jets, 30 companies making tanks, okay? All those companies are gone. In the 70s, we had over 80 military contractors again. Now, today, we got more war than ever. We got 8. We got some companies that are coming up. They're working on drone technology and swarm technology and stuff like that. But there's no competition, guys. That's a problem with everything in this country. We think we have competition and innovation. We don't, guys. We don't. Okay, see, scrolling in, guys. Sorry, guys. I can only do so much. I'm trying to get to your guys' comments. Super chats, super gifts. Get your comment right away. All right, let's see. Thick Flare, E9S. Okay, take your ass over to Europe and experience their free healthcare. If you use the free stuff, you go to the shitty hospitals, doctors, not the reputable ones. Okay, again, you're 100% right. This is a great comment. And again, we get people from Canada that tell us the same thing. The truth is that yes, when everyone has access to it, you're going to get less of it, right? It's going to take longer to get in to see this thing. But again, this is here you go. Here's the realest thing you guys are probably going to hear today. Okay, we're allowed to be wrong. Holy shit, what? What did Eric just say there? What? What did he say? What? We're allowed to be wrong? What does Eric mean by that, okay? Here's what I mean by that, guys, okay? When we elect people into politics, okay, and we vote for things, and we overwhelmingly vote for things, and we ask for certain things to be done, we're allowed to be wrong. Okay, say universal healthcare doesn't work, okay? I'm not for universal healthcare. I haven't had healthcare in 10 years, guys. I'm not for it, right? But if this is what the American people want, this is what they vote for, give it to them. Try it. But you guys aren't going to get it because, again, when you vote, it doesn't matter. Okay? Again, we voted for tariffs. Where are the big fat tariffs? They're not coming. Okay? This is why Donald Trump is failing as a president, right? We voted for mass deportations. Where are the mass deportations? Okay? We are allowed to be wrong. That's the great thing about this country. We are allowed to be wrong through the representation of our Congress. We are allowed to be wrong. Yet, every time we say, hey, you know what? Let's try this thing. And we get some fucking guy coming in here saying, oh my God, you don't want to be like Europe. They have long wait times. Oh, and then you get the pundits on television. Oh, you don't want to be like Europe because you're not going to get the innovation. All the innovation is here in America. You're not going to get the cancer research. You're not going to get the vaccines. You're not going to. Okay. I'm here to tell you, it's all bullshit. Try new things. It's okay. We don't have to do the same thing day in and day out. If I had done the same thing in my life every day for my entire life, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. You got to be like whoever thought that the way the way to make furniture, the way to make it in the furniture space is to make furniture for private jets. Who the fuck ever knew there was such a thing? I had no idea. Whoever thought that I could make $100,000 a year making furniture for Richard Branson at Virgin Atlantic, working on 787 Dreamliner planes for New Zealand. Like whoever thought? I had no idea. Yeah, you go try it, right? Like one day I was making whatever $10 an hour in Little Corvallis, Oregon. 9/11 happens, and suddenly I don't have a job. Well, God, I guess I got to go find another job. Okay, well, the only job that's going to get you what you want is out in Wichita, Kansas, in the middle of the country. You got to leave picturesque Oregon and go move to Flatland, Kansas. Okay, well, I tried it out, and guess what? Doubled my income right away. Okay, and then next time I moved, well, now I got to go Savannah, Georgia. Okay, well then I triple my income. Okay, like good things happen by trying new things. Sometimes it doesn't work out, right? Again, when I moved to Tulsa from Kansas, okay, had to get divorced. Didn't work out. Okay, again, but you keep moving, you keep trying new things. Guys, we're doing the same. We've been doing the same shit in this country for my entire life. We need real change. We need real innovation. We need to try new things. It's okay to be wrong. But currently what we're doing is we're just spending money. We're just printing money every single day. Inflation is continuing to go up. Cost of housing is continuing to go up. We're not working on supply in any meaningful way in this country. We've outsourced everything to the third world, so we don't know how to do anything anymore. We've convinced everyone that, you know what, getting your hands dirty, making some shit, like that's for losers, man. Go to college. Oh, your first degree didn't work out? Go get your second degree. Here's some free money. We'll pay for it, okay? But I already got $100,000. Yeah, but just keep going to college. Maybe you don't want to do that fucking white collar, that wagey work. You don't want to be one of those people that gets dirty. You don't want to take a shower after work. That sucks. Go get your second degree. Well, man, I'm $200,000. I got a PhD, man. What do I do now? Go get another degree. This is their solution. Instead of building up the housing industry, building up the energy industry, opening up coal plants, natural gas plants, more refineries, more drilling, more building homes, more small businesses, more people building tanks, more people building missiles. We need more of everything in this country. And again, if you want to bring the third world in here to help work because you don't got enough workers, like fine, but build up the industry. And maybe you're gonna have to get the federal government to get involved in doing some of these. We used to do great things in this country. Okay, after World War I, we had this massive building project. We started building things like the Hoover Dam. Okay, we started doing these great projects because we had a recession, right? The things that we built back then, they're still here today. Okay, the works for all the houses that we built after World War II, guys. Do you guys understand that when we gave out the GI Bill for the people that went to war, they came back here. We built up. I mean, Levittown. There's there's one in Ohio. I forget what town it was, but we basically built millions and millions and millions of homes in a very short period of time. Like we can do this today. But they want to do it, man. They don't want to try new things. They don't want to get crazy about, making this country actually work. Like, you guys know that America is one of the most resource-rich countries on the planet. Like, we're very lucky. We're very lucky what we have here. And again, we don't even utilize a third of this country. We got the fucking the whole country of Canada up there. They figured out how to work in cold climate and really harsh climate. Again, we got an entire third of this country we don't use because it's cold, or because it's not as nutrient rich as other places. You guys understand, like California would not be California without the Colorado River. It's like we could figure out how to make California into what we can figure out how to make Napa into wine country by letting the Colorado River run into California, but we can't figure out how to make this little tiny sliver of the country, 1/3 of America, more productive. I don't believe So anyway, I like your comment, dude. But again, you're talking to someone who knows some shit, man. I've been around. Like I'm getting older in life, and I've seen some stuff. So, all right, let's see here. This is OG Kush Dude 420. All right, man. Clearly, you like the weed, man. Okay. Don't talk tariffs unless you understand why they exist. It's grade school economics. Okay, Kush Dude. Clearly, you've never been here before. So I have 2 companies in India that I make brass hardware with. I'm the tariff guy. Okay, I don't have a fucking degree from the Wharton School of Economics. I actually do it. So again, everyone's probably laughing at that comment. Yeah, I know more about tariffs than all you guys put together because again, I got the companies I actually have to deal with. I actually know how you negotiate with companies and how things work to get things into this country when tariffs are elevated. I used to pay a 2.6% tariff. I had to pay as much as 26% tariffs. Okay, so believe me, we were having discussions about how to make this thing work. So when it comes to paying tariffs, I actually have to write the checks because I'm the importer. So yeah, OJ Kush, dude. Again, I'm going to give you some latitude since you're new here, but the way your basic economics work, tariffs are a tax, and importers, they just pass all the costs on to the consumer. Okay, you don't know about markets, you don't know about economics, you don't understand how pricing really works. So take a step back there, dude. All right, Chris Lawn. Let's see. A lot of the U.S. states have the same population of the countries you are talking about. That's right. Again, we have less people and more land than most places, than most countries. We got a great thing going on here. Like I said, go look at China. Like, China's a massive country, right? But they also got 4 times as many people as we have here, right? They're not 4 times the size of the United States. Go look at the country of India. Country of India's got 4 times as many people as we have here in America. Again, they're a quarter the size of America. A lot of places. I mean, again, the place is actually very similar to America in terms of resources and land mass is Russia. I think they even got less people. So America, we got it good here, man. So Chris Lawn, I don't know if I'm commenting on exactly what you're saying, but I appreciate your comment, dude. All right, let's see. Kush says he's pro tariff. Yeah, I know. Again, this Kush is new here. Kush, give us 5 streams, so you kind of understand where I come from, who I am, and why I say the things that I say. Okay, I'm not an education guy. I didn't get a degree. I didn't listen to people tell me how the world works. I actually live in it, right? I got a real business, real company. I'm not some guy. I work in my fucking garage and talk on YouTube. Okay, I got a real factory with real employees that make real shit that we send all over the country. So give it a couple streams, man. All right, OJ Kush 420, son. We can always do better. We are humans. We will never reach perfection. Again, I hear people say this kind of stuff all the time. Oh, we can do better. We can do better. At some point, we got to start doing. The problem is we're always talking about doing better. Like, we need to do better right now. And again, there's things that we can do for this country that would happen right now. But whatever. There's always tomorrow, right? We can always look to tomorrow. All right. Let's see. We got Nard AWG. Not sure you say that. Nard Og 381. Housing industry is imploding. Building, the housing industry is why we need to move. Building industry. Yeah, the building industry is in deep shit, guys. Again, they people don't understand how massive. Like, the housing is the largest industry in this country, but it's just being destroyed. It's being destroyed by lack of demand. It's being destroyed by boomers. It's being destroyed by people wanting to protect the value on housing, right? And again, having your house price go up is like as American as apple pie, right? It's your greatest investment. People say this kind of stuff all the time, and it's true to a certain degree. But the problem is COVID fucked everything up, guys, like really bad. The FOMO that was going on in the housing industry, everyone's trying to get out of the cities, they're trying to get out of apartments, they're trying to get out to where they got some freedom because the federal government and the world locked everyone down, right? This was a massive mistake. They don't want to correct for that mistake. So housing prices are super elevated, right? In large part because interest rates were so low. Like, I bought my house, like a beautiful, beautiful home. I bought it. I got a 3% interest rate. Like, I'm never moving. And I live in Illinois where I pay $16,000 a year in property taxes. Okay, I'm probably never moving. Okay, because my interest rate was so low. But you couple low interest rates with FOMO in the housing sector, it caused housing prices to go up 20, 30, 40%, sometimes doubling in really highly sought after areas like Atlanta, like West Palm Beach, right? Like Austin, Texas, like Dallas, Texas, like places like Chattanooga, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. A lot of these places saw wild explosions in housing prices, and now no one wants to build homes because you can't get builders to do it because interest rates are too fucking high. The average person cannot afford a home today. You need $115,000 a year in income to qualify for a house today. That is insane. I bought my first home. Cost me. I made $15 an hour. $15 an hour, guys. That was in 2002, I think. Like, you can't do that today. It's insane. And again, it's because we don't want to increase the supply. And if the only people that are building homes are catering to the top 20% of people in the economy, that means the economy doesn't work. Okay, we're only building homes that are $500,000, $600,000, $800,000 for the wealthiest people. That's where the housing market has been at for the last 6 years. It's only working for the wealthy people. And again, that's fine, right? But at some point, like, you got to build more apartments. You got to bring mobile homes. You got to bring back, I don't give a fuck, tiny homes. You got to bring, the people that are doing the 3-bedroom, 2-bath ranch style homes, massive apartment complex, quads, duplexes. You got to bring all of it online right now. They don't want to do it. Look at the war. Look at Iran. Look at nuclear weapons. Okay. This is all they're worried about. Again, mass deportations. Oh, that's hard. Tariffs. Oh my God, it's hard. Building houses. That's hard. Like anything that's difficult, guys, they don't want to do. Like, again, this is why Trump is such a failure as a president. He said the things that he needed to say. He was going to let America be wrong. He was going to be the guy who was going to come in. He's like, fuck the politicians, fuck the Supreme Court of the United States, fuck all these people. I own them. They're my bitches. I'm going to go do what the American people want. Right? I'm going to let the American people decide what needs to be done, and we could be wrong, and that's okay. And that didn't happen. That's why people are so frustrated with the situation that we have today. Hi, honey. You gonna come and talk with us?
No.
Oh, well, you should come talk with us. I'm sure the people would love to see
How
my
long?
my beautiful wife today.
How long have you been talking?
1 hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, what
I
did
went
you?
on late today.
Ah,
Yeah, I went on late today. So
hello.
anyway, hi. So we're talking about Trump's basically the Mad King, and everyone's terror. He's got everyone whipped up about the whole Iran conflict, and we're going to get nuked tomorrow, and he's not working on the things that America voted him to do. Things we talk about a lot.
And plus, he's really insulting the Catholics.
I don't know. Oh, yeah, that's right. The Jesus picture, right?
Yeah,
That's insane. Right? We talked about that very beginning of the. What do you think about that?
it's
This is
why.
my wife, guys. This is the brains behind the resplendent crow. Oh boy, now the super chats are coming in. Now you got to stay, honey. They see you. They're like, "Show some leg, woman. We want to. There's $5. What do we get for $5? Everything you want. Everything, everything." You guys remember that song by was it Two Live Crew?
Anyways, no, I'm just stunned how he just, you know, insults the Catholics, the Muslims, and it's such in such bad taste, such a poor taste
Yeah.
for the president of a country to do,
Hmm.
any world leader to do, but American president, why?
So
Like,
tell us your thoughts on the Iran conflict, real quick. What do you think about any of that?
I mean, I just don't understand this whole blockade thing. So, like, if a Chinese, like, so if this becomes a trade war, honestly, at this point, because then you have a Chinese ship that's importing oil from Iran, and we're gonna block it in open seas or wherever, the Hormuz, whatever, which is technically open seas. Like, even Iran does not have the right to blockade it. But
Yeah.
besides the point, so now we're gonna blockade it, and what are we gonna bomb it? Isn't that an act of war? And then we're going to start a nuclear war with China, and Russia, like Russian ship. What are we doing? What are we doing? It's just insane. And then yesterday, I think it was the Israel. Like even Israel is actually like openly claiming that JD Vance on his way back from Islamabad contacted Netanyahu, called him, and reported him. Who's the boss? Like, why not just have Benjamin Netanyahu become the president of the United States? I'm good with that. I'm done with this
Just
proxy.
be honest, huh?
I'm done with president by proxy bullshit. Just have him, appoint him, anoint him. We're good.
Yeah.
And then they can have what they want, and we can finally have what we want, which is focus on our domestic policies, honestly.
So what do you think Americans want? Again, we'll get to super chats just 1 second. Like we don't get my wife in here very often. Let's just pick her brain real quick. So what should we be focusing on? What should we be doing right now? What do you think?
Like, definitely not starting a war. So I just looked at the diesel prices. Now, I drive an electric car, so I don't need to look at any gas prices. But I do have a guy that goes out and delivers furniture, and it's over $5 a gallon in Missouri. Imagine what it is on the East Coast. And I have to ship two dressers to Seattle this week. And I think it's like, I think Siley looked at, it's like $6 or $7. Like, what are we doing? Everything is going to get expensive.
Mhm.
Like, not starting a war would have been really nice. You know what I mean? He could have done literally nothing, and inflation was getting under control slowly.
Mhm.
But now what? I mean, I don't know. It's very very frustrating.
Okay. Well, let's read the super chats. Mr. This is Banana Plays in your $5. Okay, you're wrong. I know what I'm talking about. Please stop. It's annoying. Okay, what am I wrong about? I appreciate your super chat, dude. Let me know what. Let me know exactly what you're talking about. Are you talking about? We got to talk about tariffs again. We can talk about tariffs. Tariffs are fun. So for you guys that don't know, when I talk about tariffs, right, I was talking
The tariffs sucked.
again.
Okay.
I was going to tell you guys, like my wife, anti-tariff. Me, I'm very pro-tariff. So
Yeah,
even in our own household, we
but by
completely
every
disagree.
estimation, everything became more expensive as a result of tariffs.
Sure.
Okay, if you do not have policies to promote industries here in America in conjunction with tariffing other goods coming in, it's fucking meaningless. First
Mhm.
of all, second of all, you do not have the labor. Like, my husband has never been to a third world country.
Mhm.
You understand that? I am from a country when there are 1.5 billion people. When you go to a shopping mall, you have 5 or 6 people asking you, "Do you need anything?" You try going to a Walmart and find a human. You know what I mean? Or shop, any large department stores, or you can't unless they're working on commission. You cannot even find people. Anyway, it's besides the point. We do not have the manufacturing base. We do not have the human. My husband has tried to hire many people
It's
over the years.
tough.
Many people. If they're Americans, I'm sorry, it doesn't matter what their skin color is, white, black, purple, whatever, it doesn't matter. Hell, we can't even get our kids to come and work for us.
No.
Literally, we cannot get our kids to come and work for us. They would rather go to school or college instead of working for us. And in our company, even the Sanders are getting paid $18, $20 an hour to start. To start. And who's gonna fucking do the work? This whole fucking manufacturing bullshit, fucking, this fantasy land that Eric lives in. You cannot get one person. We have hired people back in 20. When was that fat fuck that we hired?
Yeah, that the guy from Portland.
Portland.
Yeah, he's a welder.
Yeah. Well, when was it? 21 or 22?
I couldn't even tell you. Probably
He
22.
wanted $24 an hour. We said, okay, fine. That motherfucker worked for 1 fucking month. 1 fucking month. Could not show up to work. Called in so many times. This is 2021 money, okay? $24 was a good amount of money after we pumped more fucking money into the system. Couldn't show up to work. 1 month, he's gone. We were like, listen, dude, you cannot show up to work for $24 an hour. That dude.
Well, we've hired the guys that are they end up being crackheads.
No, there was that too. Not only that, he's gone. Like a month or two later after he's gone, I get a big fat document, like package from the Oregon.
It's basically they were looking for child support.
No,
yeah,
Oregon Department of something, Justice. Like, it was a fucking scary looking thing. And Eric basically shits his pants looking at the fucking envelope, like it's this big. And they're like, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And so
I thought they were coming after me because I'm from Oregon.
Yeah, even though you have nothing in Oregon, your child lives in Kansas. Anyways, and he's like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, I think I know what this is. This guy's ex was chasing him for child support.
Yeah.
You know how much paperwork I had to do for this month-long motherfucking $24 employee? Just to say that we don't offer health insurance. He no longer works for us. Please leave me alone. Fuck off. He worked for a fucking month. He fucked off when he was on the clock. All the fucking things. So Eric lives in this fantasy land of bringing manufacturing to America right now. When he has to work, when we get orders, he's like, oh, we need more orders. We really need to get orders. And he's working 60 fucking hours a week, and he cannot even do a lot of the things. We have one guy. We haven't been able to hire another.
It's very difficult to hire people.
Another person who is. We've tried to hire, and we try to pay top dollars, or so we think. We can't get anybody to manufacture cabinets, like put together things. We hired a guy, this dude who was Mexican, and he fucked up 6 ways till Sunday. It cost us more money to fix his mistake.
He built like 100 drawer boxes, like one specific way, and then the one time we needed to build some really high quality drawer boxes, he completely fucked them
he made it with MDF or something garbage material.
He'd never even worked with MDF before.
And it's a $6,000 dresser, and this guy basically just ripped out a whole bunch of material, and Eric was fixing it for 2 or 3 days, basically.
It was a bad deal.
And Eric's labor is free because he works on a salary and he's the owner. But then think about the math. Like, this whole idea of bringing manufacturing back is a fucking fantasy land that Eric sits here and I have to fucking listen upstairs. So every single time you get a chance to tell him, shut the fuck about the whole manufacturing coming back to America. We do not have enough people to make shit. We do not have people who value that kind of fucking labor. We do not have, not only that, it just does not even pay that much money for the amount.
There we go. Okay. Keep ranting. Keep going, baby.
It's just fucking fantasy land, okay? Yeah. And it's good for him to just say that, and it's just like, manufacturing, manufacturing. Who's gonna fucking do the work? Unless he's somebody like him who's gonna work 60, 70 hours. But he's a fucking workaholic. Other people like to do shit. You know, it's like, please give me a fucking break. Like, give me a fucking break. This is why I don't come here.
There you go. That's worth the $5. Thanks you for the super chat. I appreciate it.
Whoever gave that $5, tell him. Thank you.
All right.
Do it more often.
There you go. So again, don't start small businesses, guys. It's really difficult. Don't manufacture. Let the Chinese manufacture everything. All you guys keep going to college. Let AI take all your jobs. And again, let's listen to the woman with 2 degrees tell you guys how it's supposed to be. So shocker. Oh, that was gold, guys. Okay, that's got to get some comments here. Let's just react to my wife. So fantastic again. This is awesome. That's what we needed. I really needed her to come in here. Okay, let's see. Eric Powell. Eric Powell, 75, 47. Okay, it's so easy to call everyone stupid. Try to make a point. Try to have a point. Yeah, it's easy to do. All right, critical 519. Nothing has gotten more expensive as a result of tariffs. Again, tariffs haven't made anything more expensive, guys. It can in certain cases, and there are certain things that are much more susceptible to tariff pricing. And again, just kind of depends on what you guys sell. But if you look at the stats on I think Harvard was the one that did the study. They said something like 25% of all the tariffs actually got charged to American consumers because again, most of the charges, most of the costs were eaten up by the businesses, right? Because the margin's so high on a lot of the shit that's made in the third world, and a lot of it was actually eaten up by the people that make the stuff in the third world because they got employees too. They got people that need they need to feed. They got people that need to make sales, right? Like me as a business owner, I got to make sales. The people in India where we get hardware, they got to make sales too, right? So we all have to kind of figure out how to deal with tariffs, you know. So it's go. I think it was Harvard that did the study on that one. So go look it up. All right, Moonlight Ace F4P, and now people are buying oil from America. Now in the Gulf of America, they got ships packing and buying oil from us. It's happening right now. Yeah, again, it's again, it's not a bad thing if it creates jobs, right? But it's not going to help you guys on the cost of gasoline here. Trust me, the cost of your guys' oil isn't going down or gasoline anytime soon. All right, she sounds like Ilhan. Todd Gack 33. Okay, why do Indian people and Pakistani people hate each other? Okay, well that would have been actually that's a great comment. Again, we'll get my wife back on here. Todd will ask her exactly. She knows more about that conflict than I do. But okay, make her say do not redeem. Okay, not sure what's going on there. Critical 519. Why is it never smart people are against her? Why is it never smart people are against tariffs? Okay, I'm not sure exactly what you're saying there, dude. Um, I yeah, well, you think like we dumb people are we're dumb because we support tariffs? I'm not quite sure if I'm reading your comment there right. All right, Sir AI Dog, and you're good to see, dude. How could a Oh, see, we could have a great America if we actually did things that would help Americans, like a healthcare system that works, an education system, and a border that works. Well, again, Sir Adog, again, the border situation is closed down, right? So again, are you saying that it would be better if the border was open? It was working better then, or is it working better now, right? So again, we've seen both sides. I don't know which is better. And they did things like American healthcare. So we have a great American healthcare system. Believe it or not, the system in here is great. It's just unaffordable, right? Because again, you don't have enough supply. Right. Again, and when your healthcare system is built around protecting the baby boomers because you need their votes, you're going to get a system that only works for them. It doesn't work for the average people, you know, and that's unfortunate, you know. So, not sure if I'm agreeing with what you're saying there. You said healthcare, you said education. Again, the education system. How do you fix the education system? You know, I don't have an answer. You know, I think that we just need more people doing real work. That's what I think would fix the education system. I think that we fooled people into thinking that you could turn a dumb person into a smart person by sending them to college. I think that was the biggest lie that was ever told. And again, I'm one of these guys. I was too dumb to go to high school. I was too dumb to go to college, and I did just fine. You know, again, more people just need to go to work. They need employers to value their employees and employees to value the employers. We need to work on that relationship. Get people into businesses young and teach them some stuff. You know, and again, it'll take them far in life. You know, but we deluded people into thinking that they need to go $80,000 in debt to then go out and get a job, which is man, what a great sales pitch, man! I'll give it to the colleges, man. They sold you guys a big bag of shit. All right, House Cat FPS. Your wife is hilarious. She talks like mine. I know. Well, I love my wife. She's again. One of the great things about being married to a woman who's like infinitely smarter than I'll ever be. You know, is that she pushes back against me all the time. You know, so when I talk tariffs and I talk about bringing back a manufacturer and I talk about the American worker, like dealing with the poor people and educating them, right? She's much more of a realist and says, you're fucking retarded. That's never going to happen. We've tried to hire those people. They're all fucking retarded. And again, I refuse to believe it. As I get older in life, like I refuse to believe that we can't do something for these people at some point. But you're going to have to pay me to do it, you know? So again, we've tried to hire all these people. And again, my wife just went off about it all. And yeah, I hope you guys like that kind of stuff. I think it's great. All right, to Eric Powell, yep, kids don't want to work. Well, again, if you teach them to work, they'll fucking work, but you got to teach them. And when you send them to college, if you give an 18-year-old kid a choice between going to work for Eric at the manufacturing facility, or going to college where you can fuck bitches and do drugs and go get up a class at 8 p.m. You can have Einstein's bagel at Starbucks. Oh yeah, you'll get a free money to go do it. What are you going to choose? So again, we've got the society we created. So again, if I was 18 years old and someone said to me, Eric, here's a bunch of money. You can go bang chicks and drink. I guess Red Dog was the beer back then. Go drink Red Dog, and you can go to college and you can learn about whatever your heart desires. Okay, it's kind of an idiotic way to look at things, but that's what we did. So okay, see, it's because you don't raise your kids right. Okay, yeah, no, apparently no one's raised their kids right. All right, this is Durart. I can't say your first name, dude. I want to say it right. Durart, painting handyman services. She ain't lying. Yeah, and again, anyone that owns a business, guys, like we know what's going on. Again, there no one wants to fucking work. She's not wrong. And again, people like me that actually want manufacturing to come back, actually want American business to have to deal with the people that we have here by shutting the third world off and keeping the third world out, using tariffs as a way to do that. I believe this is the thing that we need to do in this country. But again, right now it doesn't work. Again, this is why the third world comes in here. It's because Americans don't want to work. So if we want to have that conversation, you guys want to get really honest, you want to hear me beat everyone down, I'm happy to do it. As an employer who actually has to hire people, I can tell you, you're fucking all worthless. Like again, one of the reasons I much rather hire a robot, much rather hire a third worlder, because again, when they come in here, all they see is opportunity. They love the idea of being able to work 60 hours a week. They love the idea of just having power all the time, having gas, having heat, having air conditioning. They love it all. And if this is you guys want to be completely honest about it, but again, that doesn't lure people. And people don't like to have their reality just destroyed day in and day out. So again, I try and stay optimistic. Okay, let's see. Critical. Shut the fuck up. Okay. Boy, a lot of deleted comments, man. Thank you so much, son. I appreciate you guys getting rid of all these. Tariffs are not affecting any normal citizen. Yeah, I don't really think they are. All right, critical. I'm talking about hiring people. Nasty pants. All right, Smurfing. This is Smurf Smurf Inators 420. Okay. Oh wow. And I thought I said fuck too much. Yeah. I mean, we have a this is a very uncensored cast, right? We talk about what we want to talk about. I don't make my money on YouTube. Again, I got a furniture factory. We make real furniture. We got lots of people over there making stuff for us. So I can be here just shooting the shit, say whatever I want. I'm not chasing sponsors. I'm not trying to be palatable, right? I'm not trying to get people to pay me to repost their content. We can have real conversations about how the world really works here. So yeah, you're going to get profanity from time to time. All right, Americans are spoiled, and that's the biggest problem with Americans. They think they should get everything just on their status. Yes, sir, and you're right to a certain extent, but Americans should be able to make a moderately higher than minimum wage. So if the minimum wage is 7.25 an hour, right? So the average wage, I would say today, is probably somewhere in the $25 range, right? You should be able to buy a home on $25 an hour. Again, not a nice home, not a new home. You should be able to buy a $150,000 house, right? You should be able to buy, again, if I was able to buy a home in 2002, making $15 an hour that cost $99,000, right? We should have the equivalent today, and that doesn't exist. And that's something we do need to work on, right? And yes, we do need to re-educate people on what real work is like, right? On the job site, you're going to hear profanity, you're going to hear gay jokes, you're going to hear black jokes, you're going to hear white jokes, you're going to hear all kinds of nasty shit, and that's okay. You don't need some educated fuck to come in, via HR and say, "Oh, you can't say this thing. Oh, don't say that." Like, how about you fuck off? Like, how about you get out of your office and get down on the fucking job site and go do some real work? Stop telling everyone how to do their jobs, okay? Stop policing our speech. These kind of things, it's going to take a little while, but it'll happen at some point. All right, remember, never trout a bald PR an Indian. Okay, good. Not sure what you're saying there, dude. Appreciate your comment though, Kathleen Murray. You don't think welders are worth $24 an hour? Again, he wasn't a welder. He wasn't trying to be a welder. He didn't want to be a welder. He wanted to be a furniture assembler, right? And again, the way I pay people is you show me what you can do and I'll pay you some money, right? So when I bring a guy on for $24 an hour, right? If he can do some shit and he turns out to be a great employee, we'll bring your wage up, right? We'll bring it up to whatever you fucking want it to be, to consummate to the value they're providing for the company, right? And that's basic economics. A lot of people want to get paid up front. They want to make sure they get that fat paycheck, and then they'll show you what they do. And then again, you find out they got tons of child problems. You find out they got tons of home problems. You find that they can't show up to work. You find that they do drugs. You find they're not as good as they said they were. There's all kinds of things. You can say, well, that's your problem. You hired them. Well, okay, that's why I generally pay people a little bit less than I would otherwise pay them. You prove to me you can do the work, I'll pay you the money. So, And again, he wasn't being a welder. Again, a welder back in the day. Again, people think that welders make $150,000 a year. They think that welders make $250,000 a year because they listen to Fox News, right? They listen to the people on X. Welders make about $70,000 a year. That's your standard average salary for a welder. It's not what you guys think. It's same thing for electricians. Electricians make $80,000 a year. Now, if you get really good at it, you've been doing it for a while, you can make more. But again, you got to go on the rule of averages, guys. And everyone wants to talk about the best of the best. It's like that's just not the case. So all right, your wife is also, yeah. My wife's she's pretty awesome, man. I did okay. All right, and again, it's very important to understand. Like me and my wife, we run a business together, and we constantly fight back and forth. Like we constantly joust about what we need to do, where we need to go, and this is life. It's a good thing. All right, see Nardog 381. Let's see. This nigga owns businesses in India, manufacturing, and talks about Chinese manufacturing. Yeah, no, it doesn't quite work like that. What it basically means is that we have two businesses in India that I design hardware here on SolidWorks. I do all my engineering, right? We send that over there, and then we figure out how to make specific kinds of hardware. Whether we're doing casting, laser cutting, forming, whatever kind of manufacturing we have to do, right? And then we bring that product over here, then we sell it in our business, right? So we make all of our furniture, right, which is the bulk of our revenue. We make that all right here in St. Louis, Missouri. Um, and it's a tough business, but it's a good business, right? I like it. So yeah, again, when I talk about manufacturing in the third world, I kind of know what it's really like. So, all right, did AI take your job? Is that why you're so angry? No, AI didn't take my job, dude. Drifting Soul T6Y. I'm a welder and I made 100K plus a year for the last 20 years, and it's only gone up. Fantastic, Drifting Soul. Appreciate it, dude. Let other people know how to do your job, right? How do they get in that industry? Everyone talks about welders and electricians and HVAC people. Like, let them know what they got to do to do what you do, man. So what I always tell people is that the good money is anything that's hard. Anything that most people don't want to do, you could probably make some decent money at it, and you'll always have a job. This guy looks suspiciously like Will Forte. I'm not sure who that is. Appreciate it. And again, Smurfinator, do you got anything like good to contribute to the conversation? All right, let's see here. Drift says, Sun says, Drift, what do you weld mostly? Yeah, again, Drift, let us know what you do, man. Like, it's really cool. If you're a welder making good money, let us know where you're welding. Okay, I'd say I'm in the food processing industry, but switching to the oil field again. Fantastic. That's awesome. So, yeah, so welders need all over the place. So that's good. How do you get into that industry, man? Let us know. And let us know what you do today. Like, how would someone get into welding today? What's the best route? Is it go to trade school? Is it to go to look for a company that does welding? Is it to go, find an old redneck out in the sticks, like I did? They can show you how to weld. Like, what's the best way to do it? All right, let's see. Knows more about the conflict. All right, let's go. All right, guys, I'm gonna go through. We're gonna do 5 more comments in here, and I gotta get. I appreciate everyone doing super chats today. Super helpful, and super comments, all that fun stuff. All right, Sun says St. Louis, Missouri. All right, wants to know where. I guess someone wants to know where. Right, Canadian dollars are worth less than USD. Right? I got no idea. Ralph 53. Ralph 5903 says only an idiot would vote blue. Okay, well, again, it'd be nice if the right would actually do what we voted them to do. It'd be amazing. Like, how nice would it be to actually get a politician that does what they say they're going to do? Okay, say what you will about the Democrats. At least they give the people what they want. They tax the rich, right? They try and give you guys health care. They try and give you guys the thing that you want. So at least they got something going on. All right, how Eric Powell says $20 an hour is for knowing something, freaking anything. Yeah, again, $25 an hour gets you basically your warm body. If you could do anything that is of use, again, you're worth decent money. Like I said, but most people aren't even worth that. They just got so many problems. They got can't stay off their fucking phones. Their car doesn't work. They got family drama. They don't own up to their mistakes. They literally try and hide things. They just make it difficult to hire them. It's tougher than you guys think. So, sorry, I dog. That's why I like this podcast, because we're down to earth things that they are on the job site and you just have to deal with it. However, you do, just let it get you. Don't let get you keep your again exactly. But basically, I think what you're saying is that we're kind of down to earth people talking about down to earth normal shit, and that's what this cast is, guys. Like this normie point of view. And again, we got lots of people out here. I interact with you guys. I don't watch a lot of other live streams. I don't know if this is what all the other live streamers do, but this is what I do. I like to talk to you guys about the things you want to talk about. I usually try and pick something. I start the conversation, and then wherever it goes, right? If we start out talking about war, and then we end up on Legos, that's fine. If we want to talk about, you guys want to talk about women, you want to talk about men, you want to talk about politics, you want to talk about music, cars, whatever. Like I'm down to talk about anything. So, all right, Johnny, Go. I don't know if I've seen you before, man. So if Trump is king, how are we able to retaliate? Because a true king wouldn't keep the current laws. When you're just saying that the king just literally does whatever he wants. Okay, Trump is doing a lot of whatever he wants. Again,
what I'm saying when Trump is king, what I'm trying to articulate is that he ran on a very well defined platform of MAGA, right? He ran on this platform of closing the borders, kicking out the illegal immigrants, massive tariffs, bringing back manufacturing, ending foreign conflicts, these kind of things, tax cuts, right? He ran on all this stuff, and he's done some of it. He's done the easy shit, right? He hasn't done the hard stuff. And every time he tries to do something that's hard, he's retreated, right? The only thing he's pushed back on and he's really worked hard for is this war, right? This conflict over the Middle East. He's moved heaven and earth to make sure that this thing happens. And again, he is not beholden to the people that voted him into office. And people downplay Trump winning. What you guys are failing to understand about Trump's victory in 2024 is he won the popular vote in the swing states. This hadn't happened in 40 years. Okay, this means that his message was really important to people. He really resonated with a lot of people. And instead of doubling down on the things that people elected him to do, he turned tail and ran and went back to the old playbook of, oh my God, go look at the war. All these credible threats in the Middle East, in places you guys are never going to go. Focus on these things because the stuff here at home is really hard. Don't focus on the high cost of energy. Don't focus on housing. Don't focus on healthcare. Don't focus on childcare. Don't focus on the fact that the youth, right, basically are going in debt to enter the workforce. This is fucking crazy, guys. Don't focus on the youth, not wanting to have kids because the cost of kids is a burden. Okay, don't focus on that shit. Look at the war. Look at the shiny ships. Right? Look at all these cool ships. Look at the F-35. Look at the pictures of Trump as Jesus. Right? Look at all this stuff. Don't look at the stuff here at home. Trump didn't run on war. He didn't run on deflection. He didn't run on, running on working on issues that don't affect real Americans. He didn't run any of that shit. He ran on helping this country, and he's not doing it. And again, this is what a king would do. And again, when you try and tell him, like, hey, motherfucker, you work for me. He says, oh, shut up, Wagey. Go back to work. Go pay your taxes, bitch. I'm president. You're nothing. You're just one voter. Okay. And again, I don't subscribe to that method. Okay. Trump's not doing what he said he was going to do. And it hurts, especially from a person like me, because again, I'm a conservative Republican type guy my entire life. Trump is in my industry. Trump knows my industry. Trump has talked about the furniture industry many times. Go Google it. Okay. Very frustrated me. That this guy doesn't give a fuck about the people that voted him into office. What he cares about is the donors. He cares about the state of Israel. He cares about the people that are in his little network, and that's it. Okay, because if he really cared about us, he'd be working on housing. He'd be working on the issues that are causing Americans a lot of pain, which is the cost of healthcare, right? The cost of energy. He'd be working on property taxes going up, all these kind of things just going through the roof. Okay, honey, I'm done. I know what you're saying. Okay, guys, I gotta go.
I delivered the best rant. There was no way you could top that. So why the hell?
You gotta be in straight. You gotta be in frame.
Why are you still?
Well, why don't you come back on here and rant some more?
No, what am I ranting about? I ranted plenty.
Okay, well, good. We'll end the stream then. We'll go.
No, did you see that?
I got stuff to work on.
That China is basically saying that we have agreements with Iran and don't get in our way. So we're gonna have a World War III. Is that what's gonna happen?
I have no idea. I'm not paying attention. I don't. Honestly, guys, I don't pay attention to the news
Why
most
would you
of the
not?
day.
You are a fucking political commentator, and you don't pay attention to the news because you just have these talk and manufacturing. So honestly, like manufacturing, bring manufacturing, like why would you not comment about the latest and greatest and the hottest topic?
Well, we were here. You should have been here at 6:30 in the morning when we were talking about
I didn't wake up that early.
It must be nice to be you.
No bullshit. I was painting all day yesterday. I painted the trim because I like to make my house look really pretty, and so that's what I was doing. So hence I was not here on the stream at 6:30. I was barely woke up at 6:30 because I'm sore.
So hold on. So if you guys are new to the cast, right? So we own a furniture company here in St. Louis, Missouri. We make a lot of furniture. We also use our home as a way to market for our business, right? I've told you guys many times before, if you guys want to learn how to use the tax system, you want to learn how to make money and keep your money, give less of it to the government, Suchet is a great way to learn about these kind of things. We talked about it many times before. So anyway, we're not talking about that. I just want to let you guys know we do talk about the stuff from time to time. So we got a lot of new people in here.
My point is that why would you not stay on top of the latest and greatest news?
Because I got other things to do, man.
What? Talk about what?
I'm going to show my wife this China cabinet. I spent 8 hours designing a massive China cabinet.
I need that.
So there you go, baby. You can see her. You can see her reflection, right? Look at this. Look at that, baby. Oh, amazing. Man. Look at that big China cabinet and that big hood and that tiny ass little finial on top. Doesn't it look terrible? Yeah. But the rest of it's pretty sick, right?
Yeah, we'll find a different finial.
Yeah. So anyway, but it's pretty not bad, man. So anyway, sorry guys.
Please send that to me when you get a second.
I will. Yeah. So that's a $15,000 China cabinet. We're gonna sell it for $20,000. It's kind of the aim.
The first one will sell it at a lower price.
Yeah.
Because we want to offer a product.
Someone's going to pay us to make it, and we can do all the engineering, we can do all the jig work, we can figure out all the problems, right? Give them a good price, and then we'll sell it for whatever.
Much
Yeah,
higher.
significantly
It
more.
is definitely a lot of work. So, anyways, but you need to stop talking.
Okay.
You need to finish my trim.
Okay.
You can do it. It's gonna take you 15 minutes.
Oh, no problem, man.
And then.
But I gotta go. I gotta go clock in, honey. I gotta go. The time clock is calling my name.
I will have one for you at the house.
I know. I must go clock in.
We'll make sure we have one. I can order.
I've been a wage worker my entire life. I've always clocked in and clocked out. I've always had a time clock. It's very weird. My wife always makes fun of me. She calls me a wagey and says that she's going to get a time clock at the house so that I won't worry about going to work every day so much.
Yeah, so he clocks in and clocks out. That will make him feel better.
That's right.
He, for some reason, Eric has this mindset that working on the house is not work when it actually is, because our entire social media, like we have our house as kind of the focal point of our business. Like, every piece of furniture that we sell is in our house, and we have taken great pictures with it. And if we were to pay somebody else to do that, they would have to transport our furniture to a beautifully designed house and, have a photographer, and that would be several $1,000s. So the way I look at it is that we're going to make our house pretty. We're going to use that for marketing purposes. Anyways, it's besides the point. But plus our house, when we bought it, there was almost like a non, like, explicitly, we didn't explicitly talk about that, but Eric knew I didn't like the house. It was ugly and brown and fucking hideous. It had a fantastic view, but you don't live on the river, you look at the river. So I hated the house. Eric fell in love with it the minute he walked in. And honestly, I was like, okay, I guess we're buying this house, because it was 2021 and there were not many houses available.
It's FOMO time, COVID.
Yeah, and so basically, this was a house that was the owners, made it super ugly, orange, brown, hideous, and designed it exactly to their own taste. And
Men love this house. They would love it.
Nobody wanted this house. The house was on the market for 5 fucking years during entire 2020. And during 3 months of 2021, when we were going to put an offer, somebody else showed an interest, and they kept reducing the price every 5 or whatever. The house was on the market for 5 years on and off. Think about that. And it stayed on the market in 2020 throughout 2020, and then finally in 2021, we were the morons that we needed a house. My mom was going to come live with us. Like longer lengths, like several months at a time, and our house at the time was too small for that. Anyways, besides the point, we bought this house, and implicit agreement was that Eric is gonna fix the house, but then when it's his time to fucking deliver on the fucking.
It's not fixing. It's just a bunch of paint.
Yeah, whatever.
They had big columns on the inside, massive amounts of woodwork. It's gorgeous. Look at an old Victorian home built in.
Guys, nobody wanted it.
It's amazing. It's so beautiful.
If nobody's willing to pay for it. You know what I mean? It just means literally nothing if nobody's willing to pay for it. It's bullshit. That you can fucking like, yeah, it's amazing, but nobody's gonna pay the price that you're asking. It means nothing. And so, anyways, we're trying to make our house beautiful, the way I want it, the way it will sell when it's time to sell, because I do generally choose classic and timeless design. Unlike those people that did everything orange and fucking ugly. Anyways, the kitchen was Olive Garden with that butterfly island.
Basically, just means if it's expensive, it's good, right? So she's got great taste. So expensive
the reason why
everything.
we got this house for that cheap is because everybody that looked at it realized that it needed $200,000 to $300,000 worth of work. Now, between me designing and Eric doing all of the labor,
and there it is.
There it is. We can afford it. So that's why we decided to buy it. And also, like I said, it's not like we had many choices. I mean, we were going and looking at houses in St. Charles that we were like, ugh. And the next, like within hours.
Yeah, all cash. No inspection.
Yeah, no inspection, no financing, and none of that, and all that. And they would be selling 10% over, 50,000 over. And we're like, we're not playing that game. So then we decided to move to Illinois.
Yeah, it was a huge mistake, by the way. Like, what were the property taxes on the old house?
Oh God!
It was like $1,200 a year,
probably.
And the taxes. This place is like $16,000, right? It's insane.
$1,000 a year in property taxes or more. Honestly, the property taxes in Illinois are insane, and we live in the middle of a farmland. So it's not like there's lack of actual fucking property that,
Yeah.
I don't even know how you justify such high property taxes. It's it's a blue state. Who the fuck moves into a blue state? We do. We moved from Missouri to Illinois. Anyways, you need to finish
Okay,
my trip.
guys,
Thank you very much.
I really let's do 3 comments. I'm gonna get here, guys. I appreciate everyone being here this morning. You guys are getting some good action. Oh, we got a super chat coming in, honey. You gotta comment on the super chat real quick. Okay, super chat real quick. Get your guys' comment read right away. All right, grievance talk shill, I guess is your name. He says, "I broke the clock. Too bad. So sad." Okay, I don't know what that means. What do you mean? You broke you're no longer working for someone else. I'm not sure exactly what you're saying there, dude. Give us some more some more insight. I appreciate the super chat though. Again, I've tried to break the time clock. My wife has tried to get me to think like I don't have it. That's why I married her. She has it. So anyway, let's see. Must be Madison County. Yes, you are 100% right, Toglak. We live in Madison County.
Yeah.
Yep. So,
We decided to move from Missouri.
yeah, and we did it during COVID. But again, this county is not. This county is more red, I think,
I
than
don't care.
St. Louis.
Just because you see a bunch of Trump flags doesn't mean anything. It doesn't help with your fucking property taxes.
Our neighbors, there's no Trump flags. There's no Trump flags
We
on
have
our hill.
seen plenty of Trump flags on our street. Remember, there's that house down there, that ugly house down there.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you're right.
We have some Kamala
Show,
people.
show us the
We've-
house,
we
son.
have
I'll
seen-
show you guys the house this weekend. We'll do a walk through the house this weekend. I'll show you guys exactly what we're doing.
Having Trump flags.
Ellie
doesn't
says
reduce
your
property
wife is
taxes.
beautiful. Good for you. Yeah, I know. I did good, guys. I did okay. Again, wifey number 3. Okay. I know she always laughs at me. It's hilarious. So here's a quick story, guys. Quick story, then I gotta go. Here's a funny story. So when I met my wife, right, she had to go meet my parents. Okay, and when she was meeting my parents, my mom and her bullshitting, they're having a good time. And then I never told my wife that I was actually married twice prior to meeting her. I told her once, but not twice. And my mom, how did that go?
She was drunk. It was later in the evening or night.
Such a good story.
And his mom was slightly drunk, and she said something about Andrea,
Mhm.
Eric's first wife, which was a very brief marriage, and there was no kids, there was nothing significant. Anyways, and Dixie says something about Andrea. I'm like, who's Andrea? And I realized that it's one of Eric's wives that I had no idea about, and I'm meeting his fucking parents. Anyways, Dixie realizes she fucked up. And she's like, fuck.
It was hilarious. It was so funny.
She was like mortified because that's the conversation that I needed privately. That, hey, by the way, I was not married once. I was married twice before this, and it was just an accidental admission by.
It was pretty funny. Yeah, we laugh about it all the time now.
Drunken admission by your mother.
Yeah. Anyway, so guys, I gotta go. I appreciate everybody being here this morning and hanging out with us again. I try to do a chat once a day, about 6 o'clock in the morning. We talk about something that's kind of a current event. And again, every now and again, you guys get my wife on here, and she's the greatest contrarian. She's my check and balance. Our government can use a little bit of checks and balance. Our presidents can use a little bit of checks and balance, and we need a little more of that in this country. So again, you guys want to know about manufacturing? I know how the real world really works, according to someone who never went to high school and never went to college, didn't get indoctrinated by that kind of stuff, and again, has real workers that work for him and has to try and navigate this world as a small business owner. This is the channel to be, right? So I appreciate you guys being here, and again, great chat this morning. And again, Sun, Titan, all you guys, I appreciate you guys moderating. And again, yeah, I'll show you guys the house. We'll do give me this weekend. I'll do a thumbnail of the house, and I'll show you guys exactly what our situation here is and why we use our house as a massive tax write-off to market our company and to not have to pay tens of thousands of dollars a year for photographers, for staging, to get all those pretty pictures that you see in magazines. Our house is that magazine. It's that place, you know. And so again, you guys can do all this stuff. You guys have a great day. We'll see you guys later.